All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series here for our final game here in Challenger, as we have quite the show to present. We have Showtime, of course, going to be going up against Naniwa in a Protoss versus Protoss, and I have Todd alongside me to provide all of that expert knowledge when it comes to PvP.
I thought you were going to go for the ultimate pun, Kairos.
I was gonna, but then Rotterdam talked to me about it in the break, and I was like, I can't do it.
Really? I thought he would be the one to encourage you to do that, because he's the specialist of this kind of stuff.
Yeah. He seemed there, but I wasn't in for it. Let's take a look closer at this game about to unfold. We've already had some great games throughout the entire night, and for now we will have Showtime, who had such a fantastic Season 1, such a great performance there, just completely get a bomb out in Season 2. And then, of course, on the other side of things, we have Naniwa, who basically needs no introduction, Todd.
Yeah, I think the last few years and his career in general, most people are aware of, what he's achieved and that he's been, top 4 winner for a very long time. Wrong flag, though.
Oh, that's true.
He's so good friend with Roddy that apparently he wanted to change nationally. No, Naniwa is from Sweden, so it's a Germany against Sweden match here between these two. And it's going to be good to see. I mean, Naniwa, he failed in the past in Challenger against Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
And this time it's another test against another German Protoss.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And the thing is that going into Challenger selection in this season, of course, we actually had a player in Petraeus drop out of Europe, forfeit his position, and then the 14th spot was given to Showtime. But that meant that he had no choice on who he was going to be playing, and he was left with Naniwa. So Naniwa, here in the European scene, from the people that qualified through to Challenger, considered the scariest opponent here at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's really entirely on his current shape, though, with people playing him ladder. I know he's pretty scary on ladder, he's always high ranked, or maybe the name Naniwa. Like, when you play Naniwa in the tournament, he's going to be preparing hard a lot of the time, and as much as Kung Fu Panda, he was able to find a lot of success against Naniwa. I think if I'd still been playing, I don't think I would have picked him either, because he's still a very, very scary name. You have to respect his skill, what he's achieved before, and definitely what he's capable of, which everybody knows.
Yeah, and it's not like the series against Kung Fu Panda was like a blowout or anything like that. I mean, he went the distance. Kung Fu Panda in long game PvP is very, very strong, and likewise, Showtime is actually very, very strong in PvP as well. So as much as, yes, Showtime got Naniwa, Naniwa got Showtime, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Showtime is going to be very, very hungry for this after what actually happened in Season 2 Challenge.
You're on fire today with these expressions. In a creek without the paddle and stuff.
You've been listening.
Oh yeah, this is great. This is
the first series we cast together.
I'm learning so much. No, but I just heard your expressions all day. Like you're on fire, man.
Thanks.
What's happened to you?
I've been practicing.
You bought a dictionary and you're reading every expression and you bring them
I've
out
done
in
that
the
for
class?
ages.
Okay.
Don't get me started. All right. Well, we're just waiting now to get into this first game between Showtime and Naniwa. It usually takes a little while with Naniwa games, so let's be honest about that.
We've seen Naniwa get very frustrated in the past when things aren't going his way. So now it's a best of 5. If Showtime's able to win, one map or even 2, with say some lucky build orders like we say in PvP, roll the dice, and get successful, I think there's definitely going to be a big chance that Naniwa maybe falls apart a little bit. So it's going to be very important for him to win the first map, or at least, not to lose the first 2, because then it's really, really hard to recover, especially if you're an emotional player like him.
Yes, we've seen that frustration kind of get the better of him in the past, that's for sure. In the end, against Kung Fu Panda, seemed a little bit mentally broken by the end of the series. Obviously, he was not particularly happy with the result going down 3-0 against
It didn't look so, indeed, yeah.
No, not in the end, with some choice words to be had at the very end. But against Showtime, I can only ever imagine that Naniwa goes into series, even after having the hiatus that he did, still believing that he is the better player, still believing that he is the stronger player. He exudes confidence because he believes that he is always the superior going in.
As much as, PvP can be random and stuff, and everybody has tough times in every single matchup, like Naniwa personality-wise and in the past I don't think PvP has been too much, a matchup. Like he's been super vocal about that he hates. You can complain about imbalance in PvP. So
that's true.
In the end, it comes down to, being solid, not getting super unlucky, and just playing well in general, really.
All right, well, we are loading up and getting good to go into game number 1 of this best of 5. It's the final best of 5 of the night. Do spread the word with the hashtag WCS as Showtime. Go up against Naniwa to figure out who our 5th spot is going to be going into Premier from the European region, as we have Coda, our map, and spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it will indeed be our blue Protoss. It will be Naniwa. And then down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. It is Showtime.
So build order-wise here between these two, I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, if we saw a lot of Twilight and Blink. It's going to be interesting to see if either of them goes for Stargate before, because it's really been one of the builds that we've seen more and more, as of late, coming back into trend and being used a lot. And I do think that these two, they are 2 of the best Protosses in Europe, and definitely 2 of the guys that can best produce this build and execute it very well, because it takes a very, very good Protoss to actually go for Stargate into Blink and make all the proper adjustments with what you see and basically not die and make it a successful build. You need to be on point.
Yeah, and Showtime usually is. I mean, again, I really feel that he's coming in feisty into this series because, let's face it, Season 2 is not where he wanted to be after the huge success that he found in Season 1. Obviously, he's gone through a lot of changes recently. He's recently lost his team, and now he is, trying to prove himself on the grandest stage of them all in StarCraft.
Yeah.
And that is going to be very, very important for Showtime here.
Build otherwise, like I said, it's going to be very important to make the right choice. If you want to play it safe and if you think that you're better than your opponent, I've said this many times, you can just go for Blink.
Yeah.
And then scout what you're up against. There is really only one build order that I feel is kind of bad to play against when you open Blink, is a quick Nexus with a Robo behind it, because it's very, very hard to break it. And if you have to go into your own expansion and you're on Blink Tech against somebody who's on Robo Tech, you're going to be in trouble. They're going to have enough Immortals, they're going to be taking to Colossus a lot faster, and it's just going to be bad in general. Naniwa delayed a lot his second gas here already.
Because of that, he was able to start his 7-Ace core a little bit earlier than Showtime. So he had better mineral income. He had, obviously, the 75 minerals initially to be able to get that started a little bit faster.
And already going to do 3+3. I was wondering if this might be like a double gate, but he hasn't added one more, so guess not. Should definitely be cancelling that Zealot, though. You see, started very late. And Stalker, Warp Gates, and supposedly Mothership Core is going to start here right behind his.
Yeah, I already saw the Chrono Boost into that Stalker, so he knows what he's up against. The Showtime on the other side is going to get his Mothership Core out pretty swiftly with his first Chrono Boost going into that. So that will help out quite a lot.
I mean, from there, like, it's really where the choice is going to be made with minimal information. Naniwa never went across the map in traditional Naniwa fashion. Like, the only thing he's seen is, I guess, around is natural. Like, this Stalker right now that's moving out for Naniwa, that's the first scout that he's going to have there. So if he can see anything at all that can give him a little bit of information, I guess it can affect his choice going further in this game. But I do think that both players with opening Twilight here, they basically saying what I was saying earlier. I want to play better, I want to go for Blink, and I don't think we're going to see any Dark Shrine.
Ooh, and already just trying to micro his way to a little bit of damage on that Stalker. Manages to scratch it, but not too much at all. So can you read into anything as Naniwa there, seeing the Mothership Core and Stalker there, or is really the world open? Yeah,
not much. That's why he's going to fly his Mothership Core into his opponent's base. Remember, actually, he had the game versus Kung Fu Panda where this happened, and it went really bad for him back then. But now against Showtime, I guess he should be able to get quite a bit of info, at least on the Twilight, maybe even the double additional gateway. And it's an absolute mirror of a build here so far from these two players. Yeah, he's going to be able to recall.
Good stuff, good stuff. So should be able to be out of there nice and timely. Any more volleys would have saw the end of that. And he starts his Robo behind it. So Naniwa really not playing anything too crazy. He's going to be respecting his opponent in Showtime.
Warp Gates is much later, by the way, for Showtime here. like 20 seconds later. Not the biggest of deals, but you've seen Naniwa already having his 3 gateways. He's going to be able to start warping in Stalkers earlier. He actually goes for a sentry, so that means I think that he wants to expand. When you go for a sentry like this, you know, you want it to build up an energy so that you can have a Guardian Shield and play a lot more defensive than just going across the map and fighting. It's funny, by the way, how they both have like a very similar pylon on the map.
Yeah, I noticed before. And I can't believe that this Stalker actually missed this probe all the while just following it behind it. The Stalker probe, stalking the Stalker, doing what he can.
Here we go again.
Sorry, buddy.
You don't have a fancy expression for this one?
I don't know what a stalker of a stalker is called, so...
A massive creep?
that's pretty creepy, I gotta say. Oh, at least he spots it now up to the top.
Yeah, I think both players, they are very likely to expand unless Showtime wants to play aggressive. He's got one more probe here right now. He fully saw that Naniwa was going to go for that Nexus, so I think he's going to go for his own. And then from there, you know, it just becomes this game of getting Immortals out. They both know that the opponent has Blink, so you can't really be aggressive with anything, because then you risk losing every single one unit that you're going to have on the map.
Yeah. Well, Stalker's going to move out onto the middle of the map here for Naniwa and be a little bit pesky. At least actually he had the vision there, and he did see these moving out for a moment. So, going to try and trap and do what he can. Reveals the blink.
Yeah, Showtime has more Stalkers, and anyone needs to be really careful there. It's 7 Stalkers to 5 in Showtime's favor, and it's actually going to lose quite a bit here. Look at this, at least 2.
Yeah, that was a bit of an odd spot there for Naniwa to move out. That's complete free damage there for Showtime. He's looking to push on forwards a little bit further here. He knows he has the advantage in that regard, so but going to pull on back, play it a little bit more carefully.
Yeah. Showtime made 2 extra Stalkers rather than going for the first Immortal quicker. So because of that, now he was able to snipe 2, and he's doing well. That's going to give him, you know, map presence, map control here for now. And both players from there, they're supposed to go, you know, into 2 to 3 sentries, and that's exactly what they did. Naniwa is on 2, Showtime's on 3. We're going to be seeing Forges drop down here really soon. Unless somebody wants to do something crazy. Look at this move out here by Naniwa. I don't think he actually means to be aggressive. He just wants to scare Showtime, I think.
There's got to be a scare tactic at this point. I mean, well, blinks forwards quite aggressively once again. He knew where these Stalkers were, and they technically can blink out in a defensive manner to try and help themselves. So Naniwa's on the pursuit, though. Has to be careful.
Yeah, Forge is going down here for both players. Naniwa really can't attack or even get close to that ramp. Like, if he gets force field, nothing's going to escape. With the Forge plus Robo Bay on the way here for Naniwa, he at least has that going for him. We should be seeing Showtime starting here real soon. Walker count here. Very even from both players.
Ooh, blinks into the main. This is quite ambitious here with the hallucinated Phoenix, but at the same time, the army was laying in wait for him. So he does lose himself a few more Stalkers once again, and the Zealot is actually killing off some probes in the mineral line.
Oh my god, Showtime really making stuff working for him here. Notices the move out of Naniwa, punishes it with one single Zealot. Even, you know, just making those probes pull away from the mineral line here and killing one, that's enough. That's worth it for just a Zealot that costs 100 minerals.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Definitely at this point. And resources lost, very much so in favor here of Showtime. He's doing well economically. The one thing that he has going against him is that Naniwa got his Robo Bay pretty darn fast. So yeah, he's going to have a Colossus advantage for a moment.
Yeah, and Showtime's going to have to, I guess, play a little bit of catch-up here. He got his double gas on his natural earlier than Naniwa, so that's definitely something nice that he's going to have going for him. 3 more gates being added down here for Showtime. Doesn't necessarily mean he wants to be aggressive. He might just want to be safe, because he already reached the ideal saturation across 2 bases here, 45 probes. And look at this, Naniwa here with the thermal lance being started very quickly. I wonder if he wants to be aggressive himself.
Definitely could, definitely could. This Colossus now pops out, just get straight into the Chrono Boost and start that up again. 3rd base for Showtime, though, down towards the bottom. If this goes unnoticed for a while and Naniwa doesn't punish, then all hell could lose for Naniwa.
Showtime, this is so smart. He dropped down 3 more gates before throwing down the 3rd base. And now he placed himself on the right-hand side of the map, waiting for Naniwa to make a Nexus, in which case he will move in, snipe it, and then get out. And also, yeah, he started that 3rd Nexus when he had 46 probes or something, whereas Naniwa, he's delaying his for quite a bit of time here. And instead getting more units out. Plus 2 starts earlier here for Showtime, but again, the one thing here that could put him in danger is the fact that Colossus-wise is always going to be behind pretty much. With Naniwa already being up to 2 and Showtime only getting his first one now in a second. If Naniwa does a 2-base timing with 3 Colossi, is going to be really hard for Showtime to hold.
Yeah, I mean, is that his only option here after seeing the third base, or could he fall back onto a third Nexus? I think it's quite difficult, right?
The thing is, if he knew, I think he'd definitely go for it, and he saw the third base, but I'm not sure if he realizes how far ahead he's on Colossus tech. But actually, he might just look at this. He's moving out, he's sending a probe there now. Showtime as a stalker, where the third base of Nani was supposed to go down, and he sees that it's not going down. Nani was warping in stalkers at home. This is going to be an all-in here. And it's all going to come down to the, I guess, positioning and execution, because Naniwa is going to be quite a few Colossi ahead. He's on 2 right now, 3. Showtime's about to have his second one out. He's getting charged, Thermal Lens and the Templar Archives. If Showtime's able to get a few Archons, look at this, he evacuates the third base.
Yeah.
He knows.
He knows he's just got to hold on strong against this, and then he's got actually Templars warping in as well, so he will have Archons in this mix when he needs them. He's already set himself up a good concave. He needs Thermal Lance, though, to finish.
Naniwa is very stalker heavy. Like his timing is going to expire super fast. In terms of Immortals from Showtime, we're actually only on 2. Against this many stalkers, it's going to be very hard to get rid of all of them. If they blink forward, snipe the Colossi, then Naniwa's Colossi are going to clean up. He goes for the third base instead of the natural. Quickly realized, actually, I was going to say that it's a mistake and goes for the natural, but it took a little bit of time. What is he doing?
Oh he's
my God.
The stalkers forwards, and he actually loses quite a lot of
He
them.
sniped an observer, but why?
Doesn't
really make sense. He doesn't have a Dark Shrine.
No.
Naniwa pulls back and starts a second Robo. So here, he's just going to take to Colossus. I mean, more Colossus himself. Probably go for the third base. And Showtime already has +2, by the way. Like, Showtime is in a great position. Havik saved all of his probes on the third base. He's on 50 to 48. He can just retake that base whenever he wants.
Stalker somehow manages to get away from the front with just 1 health, so very, very good for him to just even save a single Stalker. It's okay, and he's still keeping good eyes on his opponent's third base. Is there, of course, with these weapons upgrades, surely that's a good window for him, but does he have charge yet? I don't think he does. Oh, he does have charge. Yeah. There's so many Zealots. 17 against 2.
It's going to be great for Showtime. Like,
oh my God.
I think he's in a great position. Naniwa went for the double Robo, but he still doesn't have a Templar Archives. Going into high Templars when you produce Colossus out of 2 Robo is going to be super hard to get these Archons, and he's only on 4 gases here. He's going to be on 4 gases for a very long time because that third Nexus only started now. He's got some good mobility here with these Stalkers, but against Colossus, what can he really do?
It's kind of like very old school PvP where you just have all of your Stalkers trying to seal out any movement from your opponent over to the other side of the map, and right now they are doing a really good job of containing.
Yeah, dancing around here. You know, this is actually the kind of situation where if you have the Stalkers here, you're 1 mistake away from throwing away a lot of units. You need to be very careful. But all the same to Showtime, if he's out of position for just 1 second, you know, this Nexus could get sniped and he's going to be in trouble.
Yep, actually blinks forwards aggressively there to the third base, and these Zealots, he's actually microing very, very well against them. They are charging forwards to try and kill off some of these. So he loses a few Stalkers, but in turn, you know, a few Zealots did die.
I think Showtime definitely needs a second Robo here to keep up on the Colossi count. And by the look of things, we're going to have the War of the Worlds happening, Kylars.
Yep, 6 versus 5 at the moment, and worlds will collide very, very soon. There you go. I said it. I know you wanted me to.
You wanted Roddy to make Roddy happy, and he's so happy right now.
I watched his face. I knew. You
said 2 worlds are going to collide.
Well, Showtime, he is definitely not going to have a bigger... Uh-oh! That time warp, slowing all of that down. That is a big chunk of his army actually gone down the drain. That's 1,000 minerals resources lost extra.
Hashtag Roddy Blink.
It's going to be very, very careful. He's losing even more
That was really weird. I don't know why he did that. Like, he should have known the army was not too far behind the third base with no assimilators saturated here for Naniwa just yet, even though he has them.
Well, I
Definitely
mean,
needs to fix that.
You pointed out before, you know, with that kind of Stalker play, you are 1 mistake away from losing a lot. And was that enough here for Showtime to really just seize the advantage?
Yeah, Stalkers are not that important in the big fight. They're actually quite expendable. But if you lose like a lot of them, say like 12, and you kill nothing, then you're exposed to dying to a counter-attack. You see, the army supply, 140 for Showtime, 123 for Naniwa. And he's got +3 as well. The thing is, Showtime's behind on the Colossi counts.
And you might understand that completely here. Guardian Shield's been thrown up here for Showtime, who looks to take the engagement straight on. The Zealot wall is still pushing up against these Colossi, but he hasn't managed to kill off the Colossi at the back there at all. Showtime hasn't really done much damage to the Colossus numbers, so he can't press the advantage any further.
Yeah, having the +3 here really helped, and Nani was really far behind in that Showtime's going to go on the right-hand side to try and do some more damage here, in which case he can actually evacuate if he gets in trouble. And he's going to go for that Nexus. He's going to be able to get it quite easily. He doesn't have a time warp or recall, so very important to note that he could get trapped there, but I don't think that Naniwa's army is strong enough to chase and fight all the way there.
Try and do some work on the Mothership Core. The
If he chases, he's going to lose.
Overstepped the boundaries there for a moment. Naniwa is just going to have to pull back and resign himself to the fact that his Nexus pretty much went down for free.
Yeah.
While Showtime on the other side is mining away.
Templar Archives only now going down for Naniwa. This was one of the big things that he was missing in his fights, some kind of Archons. And I think right now, if I was Naniwa, I'd definitely be having flashbacks of the previous Challenger where, you know, 0-3 against the German Protoss, and now see how the way this is going.
I mean,
it's not looking very good.
Yeah, Showtime's army just looks superior in almost every single way. If he were able to hit before +3 again, then this would be devastating here for Naniwa. As for now, +3 weapons is just about to finish up, so that narrow point will be sealed off. But if we look at the quality of army, it is 6 Archons against 3, 21 Zealots against 11, so they will be able to buffer very strongly here for Showtime.
Yeah. There's 2 more Immortals for Naniwa, which are not that relevant. This position is great for Showtime. It's basically going to say you have to move down this ramp to fight me, and if you don't, I'm going to keep on sniping probes. He's already killed 13.
He just lost his Mothership Core as well, did Naniwa. So that's not going to be a factor in this at all either, as Showtime is moving forward. He could easily throw up a Time Warp, and he's going to get it with the superior Concave here from the Colossi as well. He does big damage to the back lines of Naniwa, and Showtime is pushing his advantage, powering through the rest that we're seeing here from Naniwa. Showtime continues to move forwards. He's bringing in extra Zealots to deal with this, and has saved a lot of his Colossi. Naniwa really being pushed back. GG, game number 1 goes to Showtime. And that was very well played out. He was in some predicaments, but he found the solutions.
And as much as you can say all you want that, you know, Naniwa got very unfortunate the last time when he played against Kung Fu Panda, didn't have some very good build orders and all that, that didn't play in his favor. This was an absolute mirror of an opener. He even had the earlier Nexus. So this time, no excuses.
Yeah.
Showtime definitely putting in some serious work. And in the end, I really feel like it's that move out by Naniwa that put him behind. Like, he moved out, he wanted to play the scare tactic, went a little bit too far, got some units sniped a little bit later on when he left his Stalkers. And that one Zealot, that counter-attack, that was brilliant, I think, by Showtime, because he not only forced the probes basically to leave that middle line, but even killed one. And then from there, I think from that point, it was like 40 probes to 35. And, you know, 5 probes difference, that already starts to being a really big difference.
Well, that was a good start here for Showtime. Naniwa, of course, a lot of people would like to see him go through. There are a lot of Nani fans out there. But then Showtime, likewise, in the position that he is in
Faniwas, we call him.
Faniwas, that's the one. It sounds a bit weird, but in the position...
That's because you're British, James.
Yeah, I guess so. In the position that Showtime is in at the moment, after reeling so much from Season 2, he is definitely come into this season looking for blood. I mean, to relive what he was able to set in stone in Season 1 would be an absolute triumph for him of 2015. He already had a great 2015, but he wants it to be even better.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, this was a pretty good game, I have to say. Very impressive by Showtime. And, you know, definitely had a little bit of a slump, but this looked very convincing here just now.
Very good stuff. And now game number 2 will be played out on Bridgehead as we get into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be jumping straight on in here as Naniwa looks to keep his hopes alive in the World Championship Series. Spotting to the left-hand side is our red Protoss. It is Showtime. And then over to the right-hand side, we have our blue Protoss in this final series of the day to find out who is going to be the 5th player from the European region into Premier. It is Naniwa.
So on this map, really eager to see how these guys played, because I'm looking for a bit of inspiration myself, I have to say. I'm not sure how to go about it exactly. Naniwa with the pylon towards the ramp, kind of like what you do against Zerg. Interesting already. If he was to plant down a gateway there, usually like you only do that when you want to rush with something. He might already be planning some kind of wall off.
You're saying you're looking for inspiration yourself on a map like this. What are the more common things that you see on Bridgehead at the moment in Protoss versus Protoss?
I think Stargate is pretty good because, you know, of the way the base layout is around your base, where like seeing, you know, air units come in is going to be really, really hard. Like you're going to see it very late and then you can't react super fast. The thing is, if you know that your opponent is likely to go Stargate and you go for something like a Stargate yourself, then you have this Phoenix versus Phoenix situation. By the way, Showtime, he was going for Gate 11 there.
Okay.
Roddy build in the house.
Uh-oh. Well, apparently we're regaming going into this, so looks like...
His screen was locked. I think it's a bug. Like sometimes you start a game and then you can't move it around like, you know, when you put the cursor on the corner of your screen, it's supposed to move. But sometimes it doesn't. It makes it almost impossible to play. You have to click on the minimap everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds not great.
Yeah.
Haven't had this bug happen to me. But the thing is that Naniwa believed that he put his building in the wrong location as well because the screen was broken. So, or at least I think that's what he said. But regardless. So we'll be getting it back into game number 2 very quickly here.
Invite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be worried actually if I was Showtime there, because he was going for Gateway 11. So I hope there is no realization there that this was happening. It's funny actually. He went for a pylon in the back of his mirror line. If you're gonna go Gateway 11, I feel like Gateway 11 is supposed to be either for a rush or to be like super safe against proxies. Like that's the reasoning of Roddy that he explained to me one time, that you're gonna be safe against most proxies because you go Gateway 11 instead of 12 or 13. But it's true that you can go also for, I guess, a variety of builds. Like a fast Stargate is possible. I've kind of talked about how Stargate, I think, can be good on this map. What else? That's pretty much it, I think. On this map, maybe you can do a Mothership Core rush because of the way it's laid out, but then you do feel that you would have to rush with a Zealot and a Stalker. And it can only be good if your opponent's really greedy and doesn't scout.
Yeah.
What does Naniwa not do in his PvP games? He doesn't scout. Greedy, though, I'm not so sure. I wouldn't call him super greedy, because he does open, you know, standard Gateway 13, gets a Stalker and Mothership Core out pretty quickly, so we'll see. I'm already very curious. Like, they're building up the anticipation even more than it was going to be. Now we get like a whole few minutes to talk about this.
Yeah.
Did you get any invites?
No, I didn't.
Did our referee launch up Hearthstone again?
Probably. So we're just waiting for our admin to realize that there is a re-game going down here.
Okay.
As for the moment, we just have a small delay with this game. How do you feel in terms of the position that Naniwa is in? Do you feel that he is in a pressured position here? I mean, going down one game, Showtime showed a really, really good game. Or do we find ourselves in a position where Naniwa can stave that off, be feeling okay? What do you think his mentality is?
Stave that off?
Yeah, stave it off. Like,
what does it mean?
it's with a stick, I think, and you just poke him, get it away. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. The point is what is Naniwa's mental condition right now, do you feel?
I think he needs to kind of forget about the first game, but like I said, like that's going to be super hard with the way it went.
Yeah.
He's probably, the only thing he's doing right now, I'm pretty sure he's replaying it over and over and trying to find, you know, what went wrong. He's probably pretty disgusted with the way it went because, you know, he had one move out and there was one Zealot in his mirror line. He started falling a little bit behind economically. And then he was going to go for a Colossus timing. Showtime reacted perfectly. So Naniwa, I feel like he had a game plan. He kind of changed it along the way. He went for an attack that he thought was going to be good, and in the end, Showtime played pretty damn well. Like, after a game like this, you have to start considering the fact that your opponent's playing really well, and you're going to have to be on your A game no matter what. Like, Naniwa from there, it's either his A game, you know, it's the Naniwa that we've seen in the past, the best foreigner, or it's going to be really hard for him to beat Showtime, because Showtime in that first game was very, very impressive. He was on point. He's walked his PvP, that's for sure.
All right, well, it looks like we're almost ready to go back into game number 2 here. As we're hosting up Bridgehead again between these two players. In terms of the 11 gate that you were mentioning, it lends itself to more aggressive openers, that's for sure. Do you think that Naniwa could be in a position where he is broken on a map like Bridgehead, where it's a bit more difficult to really kind of set yourself up across those two weird locations?
Yeah, could be. The thing is, I'm pretty sure he's not going to scout. And if he doesn't scout, that's probably what Showtime's relying on. So whatever Showtime's build is going to be, him relying on Naniwa not scouting and Naniwa not scouting, in the end, there is a very good chance he's going to do damage here and there. And then, like I said, Naniwa, if he loses the first map and if he's doing bad in the second one, or even loses it, there is a very good chance he starts falling apart. And not just that, like as the whatever it is that Showtime's going to be throwing at Naniwa, as Naniwa's going to find out about it and see that it's probably not good for him, he's probably already going to be not so happy. So it's going to be very important for him to, you know, to stay calm, defend it as best as possible, whatever it is, assuming it's going to be aggression. But usually you don't really go gateway 11 for defense unless you play like against somebody that cheeses all the time and then you want to play defensive with it. But I don't think that's Naniwa's image.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're loading back in, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2. Thank you very much for your patience. A bit more of a prolonged break there, but we're getting right back into things for this Protoss versus Protoss. At the moment, Showtime leads 1-0. Let's jump back on in to re-begin this game once again. As
you
we
know,
have...
Sorry, but when Naniwa qualified for Challenger, he tweeted back where I belong. I'm not sure he meant Challenger. So
no, probably not.
he meant in WCS probably, but more Premier than Challenger for sure.
I think so. All right. Well, spawning to the right-hand side this time, so roles reversed. We have Showtime in the red. And to the left-hand side, we have our blue Protoss. It is Naniwa. So PvP abound here as Naniwa looks to continue his position.
Same pylon. I really wonder what this pylon is. That is no Roddy pylon, I can just tell you that. This is weird. Like, you do this against Zerg when you want to make the gateway and core there, you know, to wall off. But in PvP, unless you want to rush, and it didn't look like he was going to go for a gateway 11 himself, Showtime is going to go again for the gateway 11. But not in a position where it looks like he wants to be super aggressive.
Naniwa went for the gateway 11 as well.
Okay. Naniwa placed it where he might want to play aggressive.
Yeah. So, well, for now, this looks quite intimidating from both sides of things. Quite the switch up as well from game number 1, let's be honest.
Is Showtime going to scout? Yep.
Oh,
He's moving out with the probe. Oh, he's actually just checking for proxies. I mean, Naniwa, he's been doing, and I mean, I learned that at my own expense while I was streaming.
Oh.
He's been doing a 1-gate proxy here and there, so
I see.
which is very strong.
Okay.
Double gas going down for both players. Are we going to see some kind of very fast target there?
Well, Naniwa likewise is sending out his probe all the way down to the bottom and making sure he's not going to get anything go past him at all. Likewise, he will be able to try and scout. But if he's going down all to this bottom corner, is he just going to proxy himself anyway? Yeah. I think that
yeah, he perfect walls back at home, so he's not scoutable.
Huh.
And then perfect wall at home, and then proxy targets.
Well, surely
that's even better than a Roddy build.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. You can just break down the rocks to eventually let yourself in, so it doesn't have to be something crazy like this proxy.
That is so cool, what we're seeing there. Showtime, surely. He must be thinking it's either proxy targets or Nexus, but probably more Nexus. Well, I guess he's not seeing any gas being spent, because nothing was being made out of the gateway, and then Warp Gate started late, so maybe he's able to realize that it's in fact a proxy target. But he went for his own target, so he doesn't care. This is nuts.
If he makes a Phoenix, man. If he makes a Phoenix.
Oh, I think Showtime might be able to spot it. He's queued right on top.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Target's been seen in the main.
Remember what I told you? He's going to fall apart. Like, if this gets scouted, it's supposed to be over. Showtime just gets Phoenixes. He shuts this down.
No, he just cancelled and made a Twilight. He just cancelled and started a Twilight.
Oh god.
Oh my god, he's going to kick in himself once he sees the Stargate.
Yeah.
It's Phoenix start production. He thought it was going to be Phoenix versus Phoenix.
He shouldn't have minded because the Stargate of Naniwa was down on the map. If he shut it down at some point, he would have been so far ahead.
Probe. He gets in and sees the cancelled Stargate, sees the Twilight.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, I think, for Showtime. As long as he's able to get a few Stalkers out and text to Blink, he's going to be okay. And behind this, I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing it safe as well.
This game cancels Phoenix, going to Oracle, Naniwa, and Showtime trying to pull all the punches at the start of this, but the 2 gateways behind this for Naniwa. It's kind of scary.
Naniwa being walled off, I really wonder, like, he has to go for an all-in, right?
Surely.
He lost his probe out on the map. How is he going to reinforce close to the main of Showtime?
I guess you break down the rocks at the back with the pylon and hope that you can push on there, but it takes a while, right? So
yeah, having only 1 Stalker there for Showtime means he's going to lose a few probes, only 2, but then the Oracle escapes. And behind this, Showtime there is going to have a choice to make. Does he want to be aggressive himself, fully knowing that Naniwa invested a lot into this? Then he was going for a Robo as well as double gate, so not going to quite all in himself.
Okay. Okay. All very, very tucked in as well at the moment, as this probe for Showtime still really wants some information, but it's so hard to get when there's a full wall off here. Almost now impossible. Does he have a
that
sentry
probe
or
trying to
something?
squeeze through?
I don't know, man. Looks like he really wants to, but there's not much room for that at all. In fact, 0 room, as the Nexus is going to go down here.
I guess he clicked in the
Natural.
main maybe, and the pathing went like there, because there's still a perfect wall.
And losing a few of the extra workers as well. Good pick up there by Naniwa to continue on the war effort.
I really like the choice by Naniwa of going into an Immortal there, by the way, like fully knowing that he's going to be Blink. He wants to be careful with this, get enough Immortals to defend. Both players.
Showtime's going everywhere. What is this pylon down towards the bottom? Is he going to be the aggressor? This is ridiculous.
Quite possibly. The thing is, I mean, there is an Oracle out on the map. He can't leave his base.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always good to have a one pylon like this. Remember what happened the previous game with the one Zealot? So as much as right now Naniwa is perfect walled, it's not always going to be the case. When he wants to move out, he's going to have to kill one of the rocks. So either the natural or the one here in the main, and then the gates are open. And when you open the floodgates, Skylaris, Zealots sometimes come in and kill all your probes.
Oh, yes, they do. And I actually, now that I'm looking at this with the Oracle, it's great on this map for some kind of extra intel, because as quickly as you can be choked off in a similar way to how Naniwa has done it, you know, having a flying unit, it's super easy to get all this information.
Yeah, that's what I told you about this map, man. Stargate is like...
The king.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty sick. They know it's there. They know the
Oh,
Oracle's
he's getting
there.
cornered.
Oh, well.
Look at that guy. Oh, Showtime noticed that he was there, so he surrounds it with Stalkers.
Oh, no.
And he's going to get a snipe with getting the vision here from the Mothership Core. Really, really nice snipe.
Nice. That really opens up the tap. So unless he starts another Oracle now, he is free to do what he wants.
Yeah, and now, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, Showtime scouted the Stargate earlier. He saw that there was no second Oracle in production. So he's going to move out. I think he can make one pylon here on this right-hand side of the natural of Naniwa and pressure two sides at once. Come in, force the overcharge, go on the other side, force another overcharge, maybe even take out the whole wall of Naniwa.
This could work wonders. It could work wonders.
There's an observer on the way. How is Naniwa going to defend?
Yeah, obviously Immortals are very, very slow.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to be able to shoot from that far.
Okay.
Showtime just tries to kill the wall. Oh, he actually... If he blinks Stalkers in a natural and attacks at the wall at the same time, Naniwa's not going to be in position on time to defend against this. Look at this. 4 Stalkers. That's exactly how many you need to one-shot a probe.
He's going to try and go for it. They're going to blink on in, and that is going to be a few dead probes in
Wow.
the mineral line, that's for sure. The Immortal at Force is way out of position to really deal with that. He's trying to warp in extra Stalkers, actually try and keep himself alive. Also using the Photon Overcharge. Might get himself one Stalker, but other than that, for the cost of 7 probes, that's a brilliant pickup for Showtime.
And now the Walker count is even. Showtime was quite a few probes behind because of the way this game had gone. He was the one who had lost a few probes in the start, and now all of a sudden, what do you know? He's ahead in probe count.
Yeah, did okay. But the +1 weapons here for Naniwa is on the way. Actually, they need to blink away from those Immortals. They're getting quite eager. Doesn't want to be anywhere near those.
Showtime committed a lot to the Stalkers, though, and they've done a little bit of damage, but he's going to be facing later on the wrath of these Immortals.
Yeah, the shoe is basically on the other foot, to be honest, with these compositions. I mean, Naniwa is getting himself a Twilight Council.
Here we go again.
Sorry, man. I don't even instinctively. I just kind of, it's by instinct, you know? It just comes out. I'm sorry.
Is he going to find himself in the middle of a creek without a paddle?
Yes, he will. There's actually another part to that, but I'm doing the PC Safe for Work version.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Naniwa, from this point, I mean, he's probably happy with the situation, you know, having Immortals against Blink Stalkers. He's aware of the, I guess, map control that you can have, the mobility, but much like in the previous game, that can backfire very quickly if you're out of position just for 1 sec. Or even blink forward too eagerly. Dark Shrine going down in the back of his base here for Showtime. So maybe some sort of a DT drop.
Oh, he keeps denying these Hallucinate Phoenix twice.
It's crazy.
Now.
Actually, yeah, not only that, but he has an Observer and Stalkers patrolling here. So that means that if he can snipe the Observer and then walk in with Dark Templars, because remember, he has 2 very well-placed pylons.
Yeah.
He can even kill these rocks here. So I think Showtime's plan here might be, you know, the move that you pull when you're desperate a little bit in PvP. Where, like, you move in, you snipe your opponent's Observer, and then you send in DTs and you kill everything.
Well, Hallucinate Phoenix at least spots the pylon down towards the bottom, but that really doesn't give him much comfort at all at the moment. He's going to break down the rocks himself, in fact.
Naniwa is sending a Hallucinated Phoenix through the bottom here, the very bottom of the map. I'm not sure if it's going to expire before.
I think it does. I think it expires. That's a bit of a shame for Naniwa.
Yeah, definitely.
Hardly even gets to the natural, never mind the main.
There is only one observer for Naniwa. It's just on top of his Immortals.
Phoenix.
Oh, losing that pylon is a big deal here, by the way, on the top side. I do think he
much.
wanted to send DTs from there.
All he spotted with that Hallucinated Phoenix was a Robo Bay and Robo, so he currently thinks that it's a completely normal game.
Yeah. Oh, the Observer of Showtime, he can't lose that. Dark Shrine just finished. I'm actually surprised he just didn't blink into that Observer there. Just YOLO it, man. Snipe the Observer, then kill the Sentry, then get out, and then send in the DTs. The cleaners, man. There is no cannon.
Yeah.
Naniwa would have no detection. If DTs were ready to walk into the main and he sent 3 there, kill the Robo, game over.
And they're being warped in. He's actually going to try and get a snipe on a Colossus. He was trying to blink back those in waves to negate the damage from the Thermal Lances, or the Lances. They're about to just have Thermal Lance. But it wasn't enough.
It's okay, Carlos.
That's fine. I'm trying to be exactly correct. Exactly correct.
Yeah, look at this. 2 Zealots and 2 DTs warped in on the left-hand side. He's just waiting for Naniwa to leave his main. I think he's going to go for the Observer. He has to. If he sends the Zealots first into tank, blinks in, snipes the Observer, and then sending the DTs, he can even snipe the Robo with his Stalkers in reinforcement.
Where is the Robo? All the way in the back. Yeah, he could do. I mean, he would lose a little bit, I guess. Uh-oh.
The Observer.
It's under threat. It's under threat. He goes for it. He
Gets
it. And
the
now
Robo.
he's start one instantly.
Yeah, he starts one, Naniwa. Oh, actually, those DTs are blocked.
Oh my god, he's actually
This
done
was
a
bad.
great job with the Zealots on hold command to try and block them from getting towards the Robo facility. Naniwa with crisis management. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Behind this, we have Showtime going to the second Robo himself. He fell quite a bit behind in supply here, much like Naniwa in the previous game. It is now 78 army supply for Naniwa, 61 for Showtime. And each player's third base is toward the opponents. So if Naniwa was to go for a timing, he would hit hard and fast. Especially since usually when you're ahead and you know you're going to have +3 before your opponent, you go for an attack.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what Naniwa does here in this game.
Could DTs try and keep him back for a little bit? How did this guy sneak in? There's an observer there. I guess they were just slightly out of range
Ninja,
of the
man.
Immortals and there was no Stalkers here, so they just walked in.
Yeah, killing a few more probes there. Showtime is on 66 probes against 48 for Naniwa, which means that the army supply is going to be very uneven a lot of the time when that happens. Showtime's trying to chrono boost out a lot of Colossus if he can. He's going to rejoin his army with his Mothership Core here. I think he wants to buy some time here with like a threat out on the map, but he's going to play right into Naniwa's hand, who's about to attack and who has a very, very scary army. And remember, actually, Showtime, he's making Archons out of DTs, which are very expensive. Whereas Naniwa, he's got these Templar Archives, he's all happy about it.
Find himself an extra pylon. Anything you can get here is brilliant, as that +3 is going to be kicking in very, very soon. Showtime needs a really miracle defense here.
He has 4 Colossi. 5. Oh my god. 6 now. A 6-1 just came out. He has a chance to hold this. He needs a good position. Oh, he's going to kill one. Oh my god,
That's basically
Naniwa.
for free.
Only 2 Colossi now for Naniwa if he attacks. Look at it.
Oh,
the
he can't
lasers,
do this. He can't do this. He can't deal with the poke damage that's going to come out. He's going to try and go in for the full engage, but at the same time, once the Colossus have ripped apart the Zealots at the front, there's not enough splash damage here for Naniwa. He's killed off the Nexus, but he's going to lose his whole army for it. The army supply here has swung vastly in favor of Showtime, and there is 7 Colossi against 2. What is going to stop a counterattack here, Todd?
I mean, Naniwa will need a perfect placement. Right now, the fact that Showtime has no mid-shield is forcing him to pull back. I think he can just restart the Nexus. He doesn't necessarily have to attack, but I guess the fact that he's on Dark Shrine might encourage him. No, he starts a Templar Archives. He's chasing a little bit right now. He knows that the lasers are strong. Needs to be careful not to overextend, though.
Be a little bit careful about all of this. He has gone quite far there. He has
Yeah,
some
that was
Zealots
a
to be able to
mistake.
tank for him, but he's going to lose a Colossus in the process.
That was bad. He's getting +3 as well. Like, if you're getting Templar Archives, more Colossi, and +3, you have no reason to move out and attack. Unless you actually mean it, but in this case, he did not. Not restarting that Nexus for a very long time.
Probes are grouped with this army. He's just going to go with Archons. Uh-oh. Is this it? Is this the probe march of doom? Is this...
It's the Sasse probe pull, man.
The Sasse probe pull, bringing it back to
It
Naniwa.
never worked. Yet he always went for it.
Well, 7 Colossi against 3 at the moment. It looks like he is just going to go straight for this. And then starts a Nexus? What is going on? He's had these
Naniwa is
missiles
trapped,
the
by
whole
the
time.
way. Like, if Showtime was to move out, he could have trapped this army, but just going to restart the Nexus.
Yeah, he was definitely thinking about it, I think, for the moment there. So a little bit of hesitation from Showtime, really assessing the situation, deciding that his 8 Colossi wasn't good enough against what could have been on the other side. Maybe he was speculating that a second Robo had gone down or something during this time.
Naniwa did get a second Robo, actually.
Oh, he did? Well, there you go. No need for speculation.
Great analysis, Skylar, once again.
Buddy. I didn't see
That's
it.
why you're the best in PvP.
Oh,
man.
yeah, of course.
Kappa.
Well, looks like this army with probes is here.
Even though he made the Nexus.
Even though he made the Nexus.
He's a proxy pylon. The positioning for Naniwa is going to be good. He puts the Colossus at the front. A lot of Archons here are going to help and tank. And Showtime is going to be really tough for him to pull this off. 118 army supply for Naniwa.
Oh, I should have hit this earlier, surely. Surely he should have tried earlier, but for now, nothing to be done.
He can't make up his mind right now. Yeah, Naniwa is really tempting the devil there, by the way, with this Colossi moving out, but he's going to pull back on time here every single time. 130 army supply to 101. Showtime turns around.
That's a great time warp to actually catch some of the damage on the Colossi there at the very beginning of it all, but that's big AoE damage coming out from Naniwa. He has the army advantage once again, and he is going to crush forwards here. Showtime waits so long for this push, and in the end decides to take it, but this allowed Naniwa big time to rebuild.
Yeah, Showtime's trying to kite as much as he can, but with Immortals and an Archon at the front, he's actually doing pretty okay, but running out of steam there. He's warping in DTs, pretty sure that's for Archons, because there is an Observer. They're just gonna die, and there's too much.
Way too much. Army supply vastly in favor of Naniwa. He can crush across these Colossi. GG. Game number 2 goes to Naniwa, and he will tie up the series 1-1. But I can't help but feel that Showtime's window was so widely missed there.
His target window, yeah.
Oh, well.
With the cancel. I'm not sure what he made. What was he thinking, I wonder? With the Twilights. Because like, it was almost certainly going to be a Stargate. Could have been an Expanse, but he saw that the gas was being spent very slowly. And I think a Stargate against an Expand as well is very strong. I guess I'll ask him later. I'm not going to ask him right after this game. That wouldn't be nice. Even though I have a reputation, still, I'm going to wait until the end of the series. And a few hours.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
unless he wins, then he won't mind.
Yeah, maybe not. Our next map is going to be Terraform here between these two, as it is a 1-1 now, and it will force us into at least a game 4 later on if we need it. Sorry, of course we would need it, but then if we need a 5th one, it would force us into that one. There you go. Countdown's begun, ladies and gentlemen. It's already been quite a long day, but
you should just say it like you mean it. Like, and leave it at that every time.
And then
game 4 if we need it, guys, and then just move on. People are just gonna, they're gonna trust your confidence, man.
They'd flip tables. They're like, ha, can't do math on stream. Can't count to 5. That's a bit weird. Anyway, let's get into it. Game number 3. And I did count very well. As we're going to have Terraform our map, and spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, it will be our red Protoss. It is Showtime, feeling the wrath of all the Faniwas around the world. As up to the top left-hand corner, it's the leader of them, it's Naniwa. All right, so Naniwa obviously really doing very, very good to kind of stave off the aggression of the Stalkers there, I felt. And even the well-orchestrated defense against the Dark Templars was brilliant in its first little iteration.
Yeah. And Showtime, he definitely, he can be upset about that first game, the second game. Because Stargate, I mean, I really feel like even Phoenix against Phoenix, like if that's the reasoning that he had behind the cancel, I think it's pretty bad. Because if he made a Stalker, Mothership Core, and then Phoenix, and then just kept on making Phoenixes, I think he would have been able to unpower that Stargate eventually. Just because it's on the map. You can see so easily where it's at. Like, if you're in trouble, you can pull back, but you're not even supposed to be in trouble. Gateway 12 by Showtime here in map number 3.
He actually went for the 11, sorry.
He
Showtime,
did?
yeah. Just a little bit earlier than Naniwa.
Okay.
So he was pretty quick about it.
So maybe something similar in the works.
Maybe. And It might catch Naniwa off guard a little bit, to be honest. I mean, he was looking around for a proxy and then throwing his gateway down at normal time himself. So...
Are we going to see a proxy once in this series? I wonder.
Well, perhaps.
I think
just a straight proxy.
If one of them was to proxy, I think it'd definitely be Naniwa. And I'm actually really surprised that Showtime's not even scouting around his natural. Because if there is a single gate there,
yeah,
can do a lot of damage.
Looks like he's just sending that probe out now, but...
Is he going to get second pylon there?
Ah, okay.
That's a beautiful location here for Stargate, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Really can throw his opponent off guard. Mr. Naniwa, who is sending a probe out towards the other side of the map as well, actually. Ah, no, okay, so he's just... I thought he was going to maybe swing up towards the top, but he's just checking around here for any proxy locations to start things off.
Is he not going for a proxy Stargate? Because he has nothing there to build. He wants to get a Stalker first, I guess, Showtime there. And he sees the probe in the middle of the map.
Yeah. A normal time compared to where it would have been otherwise.
I really wonder exactly what he wants to go for there. He might just throw down like a Twilight in his main and then see what he's up against and then decide. But first, he wants to make sure he does not get scouted. Quite a bit of chrono boost available on Showtime's Nexus. That's a big tell that something's up.
There was good control there from both players, actually, able to pick off the scouting probe either side. Stalker now is going to get pretty aggressive, actually, towards the other side. And it is Stargate versus Stargate, but not exactly in the position where we were expecting it from Showtime.
Interesting. Gas-wise, he's doing much better, actually. Since he went for a very quick gate, and behind he's got the double gas, Showtime's going to have a lot of gas to work with.
Stalker's got to be very careful. Oh, he shot the rocks! But doesn't matter. They got shields. It's okay.
Calm down, kid.
I was just like, what? He's going to sit around in the brush. Cheeky guy. Stalker versus Stalker. Not going to do too much.
Double additional gateways here being added on for Showtime. Whereas Naniwa, he went for one more gate and a robo.
What do you make of it, Todd?
Like, obviously, you know, robo against Stargate is pretty useless, but in this case, it tells me that Naniwa wants to play, you know, a little bit more passive, make sure he has detection, that he can get Immortals in case it's Blink. And from Showtime, it's going to be Blink here behind the initial Oracle, so not going to play with any kind of Phoenixes. And he's going to be pretty aggressive, actually, with the original triple gate and Oracle, possibly. Okay, never mind. He was moving out. Just going to go back home, get a proxy pylon, I guess, and see where he's at. Oracle against Oracle. Why not?
Oracle versus Oracle. Are they going to actually just... Well, this probe is maybe... Oh. No,
if Showtime had gone for Phoenixes, it would have been so good for him, because he skipped Mothership Core. He had so much more gas.
Yeah. And this Oracle is going to spot the Nexus go down very quickly, and then also flying into the main. How much anti-air is there here? There's actually nothing, so it's going to be able to photon overcharge, really, to really do a lot of business against this. Where was the other Oracle? Did it get pushed away already?
I don't know. He's flying in there now.
Okay. Yeah, not going to get much done at all. Phoenix start on both sides, making sure they are going to be completely on lockdown and maybe even on the hunt. So... should be fine. Yeah,
and Naniwa already having an Immortal. He's probably hating life right now with that one, because against Stargate Tech, they don't really do much.
No.
Ooh, that Phoenix of Naniwa there on the top-hand side. It's not too far from that Oracle here from Showtime. Both players actually missing each other's Oracle.
Yeah, very, very close. Another Immortal in production, though. After seeing the Twilight Council whirring away, I guess he is quite scared of that blink at the moment. Doesn't want anything to happen from that point on, but Showtime is already throwing down his robo facility, so looking for alternate paths.
Yeah, he's going to play it safe. He's ahead in probes right now. Should be starting to build up his sentry count. See, like he just warped 2. And he finds the Oracle. That's pretty nice for him here. Being able to shut this down completely.
Always good stuff. He's going to keep himself a little bit more well defended back at home, and it gives him more freedom on the map now, as his Oracle is likewise going to move out and run straight into the Phoenix.
Forges taking a little bit forever here to be dropped down from both players. You want to get these upgrades going. We've seen how the players that get +3 earlier have such a nice advantage in the fight. Yeah, that Phoenix is pretty fearless there.
Yeah, he took a little bit of shield damage as well, so he certainly doesn't want to fly near his opponent's Phoenix, because if they stick together, Naniwa's Phoenix will
It's gonna
always
be a
win
double
out.
KO, man.
Oh, this is sad. Like, wait a minute. How did he get out of range? When he goes over the high ground, he was slightly more out of range. That's
He's a
ridiculous.
ninja, man.
Okay. So yeah, that happened. That was weird.
PvP things.
Just PvP things. That slight, minute millimeter when you go over high ground finally puts you out of distance from each other.
Yeah. If he hadn't taken any damage before, it would have been the infamous double KO, but he did. And Naniwa, funnily enough, is the one with air control now.
Yeah. Of one Phoenix. Ooh. But anyway, the hallucinated Phoenix are going to be hard to deny with just that one alone, and they will be able to keep good eyes on one another for a long time in this game. +1 stats at exactly the same time. The Robo Bays are at exactly the same time almost. So we are heading into, once again, another long PvP.
Yeah, Robo Bay being added on at the exact same time. Then I will be surprised if this time we see a little bit of a more of a turtly game, you know, where like if you see that your opponent has the same thing as you, you really have no incentive to attack.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really make sense. Like you want to attack when you're ahead, so it's gonna take, I guess, longer for both of them to finally try something. There isn't really much that they can try up until the point that maybe one of them gets like a Dark Shrine and wants to do like a DT drop. But usually in this situation, you're always gonna go up to 3 bases very easily, and they both know that they have a lot of scouting capability as well. So it's not like, you know, you can do something crazy and surprise too.
Yeah.
Like they both know that hallucinated Phoenixes, they're going to keep on flying in, revealing everything.
He sees a lot of Immortals banking up, 4 against his only 2 at the moment of Showtime. So you just have to be wary of that. Immortals as a backbone to these armies can be quite detrimental to you. I think one of the first people that ever did that was way back in Wings. It was Rain that was mixing in a lot after he'd had heightened Colossi production.
Yeah.
And it did work wonders for him.
Remember all these games against Liquid Hero?
Yeah, yeah.
Back then was one of the most respected Protoss names. And in the late game, I think he was 10 Colossi, 10 Immortals, and the rest in Archons as much as possible. And then if you don't have the gas and you have too many minerals, then you make Zealots instead. And back then he made that look pretty much unbeatable. Then in Heart of the Swarm, you had Tempest that kind of countered that, but now that Tempest have been nerfed, you really don't see them nearly as much in PvP, although there are a few situations where they can come in handy. Like in very, I guess, slow games where nobody's attacking and you're on 4 bases, if you can take 2 Tempests and get quite a few out, or even a Mothership, you know, to cloak your army, it can play right in your favor.
Well, for now, still almost completely mirrored. Naniwa's getting himself charged a whole lot quicker, which will aid his composition overall very, very nicely.
Oh, this is going to be a snipe, I think, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Look at this. Naniwa completely out of position, does not see this coming.
Hallucinates a Colossus as
Oh,
well.
this is really bad for Naniwa if this gets sniped. And he's going to get sniped. And then Showtime can recall quite easily. Maybe even walk away.
Yeah. This is a bit brutal for him, unfortunately. Needs to recall, though. And the hallucinated Colossus is the only thing to die in that situation. So
Naniwa has to restart the Nexus as Showtime's 3rd base just ended. Same walker counts. Naniwa's quite a bit ahead in army, actually. This might actually, you know, trigger him to attack. Look at this. He's moving out. He's got a probe with him. Colossus count right now is 3 for Naniwa, 2 for Showtime.
yeah, the
And
third
remember,
one
he's got air control with the Phoenix.
Right, it's on the way.
Just kidding, he's not using it.
The air control. We're back there. Going to break down these rocks, trying to buy himself a little bit of time here, knowing that there is the potential for this to come along, and instantaneously, as it's broken down, it's going to be broken down a second time. These rocks have been bullied enough, Protoss. Leave them alone.
Showtime is an Archon. Naniwa's, well, where is it? Those players are supposed to have an Archon there.
Yeah.
And Naniwa's behind.
Needs to pull back. That charge is actually doing a lot of damage to those Immortals,
the Immortals
at the front.
die.
Oh, dear me, they kind of got left by the wayside. They couldn't really retreat out. And that might unlock the 3rd base here with those 2 Immortals dying.
That's really bad. 0 Immortals to 4. If the Colossus count is the same, Naniwa has a lot more strong units here with his army.
Yeah, he needs big Zealot War Pits.
+2 finish just now for Showtime. He has a very short window during which is going to be the case. Naniwa tries to place himself a little bit better. He's going to start Nexus
Great
and
time
maybe
warp.
recall.
Yeah, if he can get out from here, that was a fantastic time warp to make sure that he can't really pursue too easily and defend that. Great move by Naniwa. Like, both these players going blow for blow with one another.
Yeah. Naniwa's saying, you want to play these games with me? I'm the one who invented Nexus Snipe in PvP.
He gets him. He gets it. Very, very well done. Again, Naniwa, Yeah, as much as we were saying that Showtime is in this position after Season 2, after the bomb out, is tenacious for that, both of these players in Season 2 were pretty much in exactly the same position.
Yeah.
They both didn't have the
Showtime, he sees that Nani was about to re-attack the third base.
Oh,
he
my.
cancels it. And he's going to attack the third base of Naniwa. Naniwa needs to realize very quickly and actually recall there, because if he recalls when the army of Showtime's already there, he's going to lose everything instantly. He's actually just going to full on base trade. Look at this.
The Mothership Core's moved away from Naniwa's army. It's just going to be, yeah, you're right. It's just going to be completely base trade. Uh-oh. The thing is that Naniwa's in a better position for this.
Yeah.
Much better. He's on the natural, where his opponent's on the third. This could be a catastrophe here for Showtime.
Moss Supply is going to snipe all the probes instantly. He can even recall in his main.
Oh, he's going.
Wants.
He's going to the natural, but the thing is that Showtime just doesn't win this. This is just going to come down to who has more buildings on the in the middle of the map.
I don't think Naniwa can recall on the natural, though. He has to recall in the main.
Yeah.
That means his entire natural is going to be wiped out as well. 23 probes to 23.
Oh my god.
This game's sick.
Oh my god.
Showtime can just pull back and time war behind him. I don't think taking the fight here is smart.
Yeah.
There's so much from Naniwa. Oh god.
His Mothership Core. He's actually going to recall. Oh, but by the time he does, he's lost so much of his army. He loses a few Colossi there at the very end of that. And now it's 6-3. He had to back out from there much earlier.
Yeah, messed up big time there. 118 army supply for Naniwa. 83 for Showtime. Both players are going to restart the natural nexus there. 23 probes to 23 probes, but
how does he survive this?
Yeah, with such a big difference in army supply there, I don't think that Showtime's going to survive much longer.
No, not at all. It is
a miraculous fight.
Yeah, it's going to be nigh on impossible. I said it before, and Naniwa here is looking to just put on the final blow, the final touches of this game. The Phoenix comes along, air control re-established, Todd, as Naniwa is pushing on into the natural base, even just using the poke from these Colossi. And that is fantastic. They've got the range. The Phoenix in the back. Commander Phoenix is going to oversee operations and make sure that they is going to be victorious here.
Oh, he shuts down the Warp Prism.
No, the Commander Phoenix will have none of your Warp Prism shenanigans here. As Naniwa in a brilliant position at the moment, slaughtering the rest of the army front line. And then from that front line falling, the back squishy damage dealers will die. Naniwa takes a 2-1 lead here in this game. And he is one game away for a lot of the Faniwas out there. I'm going to keep saying it. For him to advance onto Challenger.
The back squishy damage dealers. I'm glad you brought your Heroes of the Storm vocabulary over to StarCraft 2, Kellars.
I did it just to see if you'd get a reaction. There we go.
You knew you would get one by saying that.
Oh, yes, of course. I was about to compare the Colossi to Kael'thas, and then it's actually strangely apt.
Kael'thas 10 times better.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway. So, getting into game number 4 very, very soon here in the World Championship Series Challenger qualifiers.
Challenger Series.
I don't know, man. I'm tongue-tied at the moment. I'm really tongue-tied. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're going on to Cactus Valley here for game number 4. And Naniwa is one game away for a lot of people's delight out there to get back into Premier League, where he then gets put in a situation where you have that double elimination GSL-style groups. And usually in the past, that's where we've seen Naniwa thrive.
Yeah.
So
he gets to prep, for his matches and opponents for quite some time. And this is definitely something that I'm sure he would like. He seems to have prepared quite a bit here for this, Game 1 wasn't very convincing. Game 2 was a little bit weird. But that game right there, the last one, he did very well, Yeah.
He did. All right, well, this could potentially be the final game of the night, unless Showtime has anything to say about it. As the countdown has begun, we're going to be getting into Cactus Valley in just a moment. What a night of games we've had, actually, across the whole series, especially Ret versus Hero Marine. And the way in which people have advanced has been phenomenal. We've had some really good games.
Challenger's good. I heard Roddy talking about it, about how cool it is, the selection and everything, but it's really nice to see these matches take place this way with a little bit of the trash talk and selection.
Yeah, that was fun.
Between these two, I don't think there was too much, though, because they were kind of stuck with each other. We talked about that.
Yeah, it's like, said it at the beginning of the series, it's like, are you stuck in here with me or am I stuck in here with you? Because either
We're stuck
way...
in here together.
Yeah. It's like just the cage. They just got to fight it out from this point on. Anyway, let's get into game number 4 now. as we do have spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It will indeed be Showtime. Needs to keep his Premier hopes alive after the disappointment on his shoulders that he felt falling out to Elaser in Season 2. He wants to find some kind of retribution. And then down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss. A lot of people are wanting to see him advance back into Premier League. Of course, it is the one, the only, the infamous, the Naniwa.
The Naniwa.
The Naniwa. I had to do it, just because it sounded a bit more ridiculous than saying Naniwa.
Gateway on 12 from Naniwa. And Gateway 13 from Showtime. So a little bit of an earlier Gateway there. Again, not super important, but if he wants to go for a Stargate very quickly here, with which, to be honest, he's had a bit of success in the last 2 games, playing that way.
Yeah.
Definitely could be one of the good things here that he can do. There was no Gate 11, though.
This probe's moving out pretty fast for Showtime. Really wants to know what's up very quickly.
Where is it queued, actually? Not sure where he's sending that. Just a scout, I guess?
I guess so, yeah. Looks like it.
Yeah, because he gets the second pylon in his main. Actually, no second gas yet for Showtime.
We've seen that pylon almost always be a Stargate.
Is it time for 4 gates? Is enough enough, Gailarius?
Is enough enough. We're back on Tal'Darim Malta. Let's go.
The fact that Naniwa really doesn't scout much, I mean, it can make a 4-gate good, but the thing is, I think Showtime picked up on the fact that here, Naniwa was moved out with a probe early on, and he's going to be going for a scout. So even though it's in the wrong direction, you can't really risk it. Going out of, of WCS this way in a best of 5 in the last game, definitely not one of the pleasant way to be eliminated. Even though there is no pleasant way to be eliminated.
No, not really. Not really. Naniwa trying to scout on out. Will be able to find his opponent last unless he goes cross for some reason. And actually, there would be some validity to going cross, considering how quickly this probe got over here. But Naniwa's just going to stick it out, going all the way around.
Twilight Council here by Naniwa. What is it going to be by Showtime? Stargate, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. All the way at the back.
I wonder what Nani was thinking here with this, because on a 4-players map like this, going for Blink Stalkers, I feel is definitely less common. It's not one of the maps where, you're going to be able to be super aggressive. The thing is, he's already up 2-1, and he's doing pretty well. He's got a lot of momentum, so maybe he tries to catch Showtime a little bit off guard. Blink Stalkers is definitely one of the good openers that you can have against the Stargates. There's still the possibility, yeah, I was going to say, it can be a Dark Shrine. There it is.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he already has a well-placed pylon out on the map.
Yep, that went down very quickly.
Where is that probe going here for anyone?
I think he's just confirming the fact. He throws it down in between the bases, or slightly in between, and now confirms. So
gets the robo here behind this. I wonder if he's going to go for a Nexus or just more gates here with this, because his walker count is going to be super low. You can't really afford everything. You have to make choices in terms of what you get first. And Naniwa is maybe even counting here the fact that Showtime's been opening a lot with Oracle into Blink, in which case you only have the Oracle to detect. And if it's across the map when it is walking to your middle line, lights out.
Definitely the possibility of that happening here. Definitely. I mean, the probe is on the way up towards the base. It won't really spot anything, but it sees the Oracle. So already Naniwa has a good little bit of information there as to how well this is going to play out for him. And he knows that that Oracle will be over the other side, but the Stalker is going to find the pylon on the other side. Oh, yeah, good scout.
Dark Shrine is very close to finishing, just a few seconds. He's going to have time to warp in on the right-hand side here, next to that Stalker down there, and walk into the main. Those Showtime see it.
So the Dark Shrine.
He's not looking right now. He just looked, he saw the DT. He's sending back, okay. He's going to be okay.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
All right, well, at least he's able to kind of read into this. Showtime, technically, with quite a significant supply advantage in that regard. And there is the sentry already here.
Absolute shutdown there.
Great.
Well, I'm not sure about using the energy when that's when the detection here ends. Another DT. Hey, look at this. Naniwa immediately picked up on that, I think. Warped in another DT. So he's going to wait here until the Oracle cannot detect anymore and doesn't have enough energy because it's another 50 that you need. Yeah. And then fly right in there because he knows that Showtime doesn't have a robo here there just yet.
Going to take a little while. This probe has already spotted out the fact that there is the Nexus going down. Star Templar is just going to sit around for a little while, wait for the timeout, and then just dive back on him. But there is already the block on the ramp here by
Yeah.
these units. So if he was being very observant, he did see that. And at least he has a force field. There we go. We'll be able to get rid of that. Well
Get
played.
out of here.
Really good shutdowns. Really good shutdowns. Showtime is taking advantage of it in spades. He's got his Forge on the way. His Nexus is earlier. Robo Facility, yeah, of course, is down, but Naniwaz is also there.
And with the Forge on the way there, Showtime, look at how much he's going to still out probes before his second Nexus is out. 34 to 26. That's so ridiculously to have. +1 starts much earlier. Actually, we have no Forge started yet from Naniwa. So that DT build essentially did absolutely nothing. And Showtime so far in map number 4 is looking pretty good here.
Yeah,
Look
looking
at that
good.
probe
Tied up.
transfer. He's a millionaire, man.
How much has he got? He's got a lot. He's got a lot. How many? Okay, so it is 36 workers at the moment. So, yeah, he's doing really, really well for himself. Even getting himself those gases very fast. Only 1 down at the moment for Naniwa. And with the +1 weapons being at the time it is, jeez, you're right. He is running away with this at the moment.
Yeah. I fully expect, Immortal production here to start soon. Robo Bay to go down behind this. And I do think that Showtime, he can decide on how aggressive he wants to be here with this. He can be, when you're this far ahead, you can be pretty aggressive and at the same time, keep on macroing. Make sure you're safe back at home. He's going to have to keep that Dark Shrine in his mind, by the way. Like, the fact that there's a Dark Shrine on the map, he's exposed to, counter drop with War Prism. He's going to need to get some cannons, ideally walled off in his bases, so that he doesn't die to some kind of desperate DT drop.
And Naniwa, at the moment, looking for a solution to this puzzle, because in the end, he is 1 game away from advancing on, but he's seen how much of a deficit he's at. He saw the saturation on the natural, he saw the Robo Bay, and he saw the Forge all quicker than himself. So what can you do in Naniwa's position here to try and equalize things up and then push yourself onto Premier in this game?
Either you do something very risky, or you kind of sit back and you wait for your opponent to make a mistake, like a bad attack, in which case you're well set up for defense already. He attacks into you, you defend, and then you're really far ahead. But I don't think Showtime's the kind of guy to make this kind of mistakes. Gets a few more probes there, even though the Oracle's going to get shut down finally. Showtime has such an earlier third base, which Naniwa is actually about to find out about, I guess.
Yeah.
In one sentence. That sounds kind of bad. I wanted to go for something different, but failed. Yeah. Naniwa, but just 2 base. I don't know. Oh, he actually hiding the DT.
Yeah.
The Butcher, man.
He's going to come along and cleave things down. As we have this Hallucinated Phoenix heading on around to see if there's a third base going down. Perfect timing. Spots it instantaneously. So
Showtime has done something a lot, by the way. He's moved down the map and gone for a third base snipe almost every single snipe, every single time. So I fully expect him to probably try it again there, especially since he has a slight lead here in this game in terms of, army upgrades and all that. He's getting charged much earlier.
And as we saw in the previous game, with Naniwa having charged much earlier, it definitely made a difference. We saw
the DT got sniped.
Oh, did it?
At the third base,
oh,
quite
nice.
easily. I think Showtime saw it somehow.
But we saw, like in the previous game, how charge did make a difference. He got those 2 Immortals at the start of that engagement very quickly, and that could have quite easily turned the tide of those fights. So
Showtime's gonna drop down a Templar Archive, and he's getting a few probes here and there. Right now he's cutting a little bit to add on some gateways. Yeah, there we go. 3 more probes are gonna start. He's ahead by 2 probes. Getting his upgrade still. Naniwa never started +2, by the way. He never did. Maybe he thought that there was going to be an attack and he didn't have time, but in any case, I do think that it's always good to start it and then cancel it if you get attacked. Look at his Showtime adding on gateway number, I think it's 7 and 8. He's got a lot of gates.
yeah, it is 7 and 8 at the moment. So
So he's going to have a lot here.
Likewise, Naniwa is slowly pushing himself towards that direction as well, but the economy has just been inferior for a good couple of minutes now, as Showtime is slowly, patiently building himself and crafting himself a very, very powerful army. And only just now the +2 weapons is really underway for Naniwa, while Showtime's is finished.
Yeah, he starts the +3 now. Oh my god. If Showtime just sits back, wait for +3 to finish and then does the timing, he's going to have more army supply, he's going to have +3. We've seen how it goes before. He's just going to be equalizing the score here in this series. It's a really, really tough position here for Naniwa, and Like I said, the only two things that he can do is play it super risky, maybe do a move out, maybe do a DT drop, or sit back and wait for Showtime to do a bad attack, which, like I said, is very unlikely to happen.
Well, it looks like our admin also saw a few spikes here for the lag, as they look to be okay. They look to be okay. So we'll jump back straight into this, as...
Yeah, taking the gases on the third base earlier here is going to be great for Showtime. He's going to have so much more gas to work with, get more Archons. It's just one Archon to one, but you can see the supply-wise right now. It's really starting to completely take off.
And
63 probes to 51. Nani was cutting here for a very long time.
He's got to do something. Surely he's got to do something. We're having a little bit of a lag again.
It seems to be his plan, actually. He's just... Well, isn't that a perfect nickname to lag? There you go. We have a new chill.
We do.
Like I said, this might be Naniwa's game plan here. Stay on 51 probes. Max out on 149 army supply. Whereas Showtime is only going to be able to max out on 137. Yes, I just did math on 3.
Perfect.
And then you have... How much army difference, Skylaris?
I didn't listen to your initial army thing.
Okay. How much probe difference is there? 12. So you're going to have 12 more army supply as Naniwa, which can make a big difference in a PvP.
Yeah, definitely.
12 army supply, that's quite a few units to have, especially in terms of mid-chill. Like usually your Colossus count is going to be the same no matter what. It's an interesting approach. I wonder if he's going to make more probes or not. I really wonder, because right now cutting at 51, I think it's the first time I've seen that ever. Like usually Protosses, you go up to like 60 something and then you lose a few probes and you're like, okay, I'm not going to remake them. But now Naniwa is basically saying, I'm behind, you're going to be ahead in army, you're probably going to attack, so I need to cut now. And then when you attack, I'm going to have more army than you, ideally, and then I'll win this way. Look at this, that third base. No saturation, he transfers from the main base.
Oh dear.
This is crazy, I never thought of this.
No?
I'm never going to go over 51 probes now.
Never. What if the attack comes earlier, though?
I guess you die. I don't know. Like, it depends. Like the opponent's not gonna have the upgrades anyway.
Yeah,
like anyways, you know, he's aiming for that +3 timing.
All right. Well, Dark Shrine is on the way for Showtime. He's playing this out for the long game by the looks of things.
Yeah.
He's expecting Naniwa to be playing it out for the long game at the moment. As the fourth base is also on the way down to the bottom. He wants to keep himself healthy.
He's only on one Robo, which not gonna help a lot. Still ahead by one Colossus though.
Or Chrono Boost been focused in there then, I guess. And it still continues to be focused in there, as Naniwa just trying to put himself in a position where he can deal with this odd spot that he got in at the very beginning of the game. You know, with Showtime just taking these natural advantages.
He went up to 54 probes there a second ago. Second Robo is gonna go down here for Naniwa. +3 attack is already up for Showtime. And it's time to move out and attack here finally. He does not want to let Naniwa take a fourth base. He's going to shut this down. Already working on the assimilators actually at his own fourth base.
Ooh, gets himself 3 Zealots actually that have walked a little bit far forwards.
Naniwa's Colossus control in those big fights has been pretty insane.
Yeah.
He always tried to kite from the start and then pull back on time. Needs to be careful. The one time warp is all he takes and then you can't pull back. And you lose everything.
Is there anything in the realms of possibility that Nexus is a fake so that he could have baited out some Zealots to do damage to them?
No. He wanted to take a fourth base, yeah.
Oh, well.
The thing is, he's killed a few units. He's going to have to kill a lot. Like, his kiting is going to have to be endless. And that third base here from Naniwa is likely to die as well during this attack. The mix here from Showtime is quite beautiful. 8 Colossi. But likewise, Naniwa has 8. Only one Immortal. Showtime clearly underestimates the power of those Immortals. He always gets very few of them.
Yeah, Naniwa with 3 in this army, in the backbone of this. And Archon advantage, not really anywhere, to be honest with you. And Naniwa will actually have the Archon advantage in just a second.
He's trying to win this through complete, patience here. Waiting for Showtime to attack into him, kill everything and so that he can counter-attack. Naniwa just got +3. He finally achieved that himself, so he's caught up.
Nice.
Army supply, look at this. 15 army supply difference. Showtime starts 2 Immortals, but the fight might actually happen before they can even rejoin his army. So that's going to be how much, Kailaris? 122 army supplies to 144 right there.
Yeah. That could get a bit
Look at this.
dangerous.
Almost as if he knew. Nani was chasing right now.
I might have gone a little bit too far there, though. The concave of Colossi was set up very, very well for Showtime. He can back off. Time warps do cause a bit of an issue to get out of there instantaneously.
Oh, the DT was guarding the fourth base there. Gonna kill the one probe.
Good job, DT.
And get shut down.
Bad job, DT. Well, we'll see. Showtime just heading on towards the back now. And
oh, I like what Showtime's doing with the Zealots here on the left-hand side to try and go for a counter-attack. Because if you can snipe those cannons at that base, then the DTs are going to reign supreme and do a lot of damage. And he's going to just want to look to shut down that fourth base here once again on the right-hand side. Probably go. He can go for a fifth base himself. I'd like to see more robos here being dropped down by him because he has such a big bank. If Showtime was to somehow lose a fight, he would have found himself in quite a bit of trouble against the counter-attack behind this. This is what can happen in PvP. Look, he's replacing his losses with more Immortals there.
And Naniwa's in a spot where he's just trying to stall this out. But the thing is that can't Showtime just continually dance? And he's building up such a massive bank.
He's playing this really well. I think he's probably been in this situation before. He knows better than to just engage, lose everything. I would have engaged, man. I would have been like, well, I got so much money, let's engage. Lost everything, and then the counter-attack happens, and you don't have time to rebuild your Colossus counts, you die.
Yeah, there was a Dark Templar warped in defensively here as well for Naniwa against... This is quite the trade for him, to be honest with you. Yeah, Pylon died off, but not much more than that. And he saves the cannon as well. So that Dark Templar can stand guard there. Yeah, be totally fine.
Showtime got rid of all of his Zealots, by the way. He's got a single one left, so he's going to replace all that. He's basically going for the ultimate comp there.
Yeah.
He needs to lose his sentries there sometime soon as well, because they're going to be pretty useless in the fight. His Stalkers, maybe you can just even kill them yourself. Replace those with... Basically, what you need is what I said before. 10 Colossi, 10 Immortals, and then only Archons. If you can get that army, and then you face somebody like Naniwa who has 15 Zealots, you're going to completely steamroll him.
Well, he's looking to go over to Fleet Beacon, so looking for the Tempests to slowly chip away at Naniwa.
Maybe just for Mothership in the first place, but Tempests are also a possibility.
Yeah. It's almost an excruciating death at that point if you actually get to that phase in the game as Naniwa, who has to be the defender, because he doesn't really have full money to be able to commit to it just yet. Showtime feels like he has true bank to be able to commit.
True bank.
True bank, man. True bank.
Yeah, the Showtime definitely needs to get rid of his sentries and Stalkers there. They are doing nothing good here for him. It's only 8 Colossi and 8 Immortals, which is unacceptable. Oh. And he's going to go for the fight. This is what Naniwa has been waiting for.
Yeah, and actually he walks into that quite heavily. The Archons at the front here are tanking quite a lot for Naniwa. This is going to be quite the close engagement, but the Zealots to the left-hand side, are they going to mess with this Colossus AI? They haven't really done too much. They get on top of one Colossi. Now they're going to be able to... There was a warping by the looks of things from this Warp Prism. And Naniwa, 85 army supply against 65, but... There is still bank for both of these players to remix out.
Everything died except the Colossi from each side, and then they just pull back. They're like, okay, we'll be right back when we got new mid-shield at the front.
Just got to have something to sacrifice.
And Naniwa at this point, finally having the fourth base, is going to be able to mine from there. And he's not doing too bad for somebody who was supposed to die. He really salvaged the situation really well. After losing that first map, he really woke up. Nani was playing this super well, I think, right now.
I sees the Warp Prism still scouting out forwards. Likewise, Showtime using that Warp Prism to spot what is going on. But the thing is that the bank is really telling now. I mean, Naniwa is, yes, almost maxed out, but there's still 3k minerals in the bank here for Showtime. But gas is very important in PvP, so the Zealots alone might not cut it.
The thing is, if you can reinforce with 15 of them in the big fights, it's going to be super important. I didn't like the previous swapping of Showtime. He needs to do better.
Oh, and I think that's a catastrophic engagement there for Naniwa. He left his Colossi at the front, and everything took splash damage as he was being attacked into. Showtime, though, may have overstepped the boundary a little bit. Zealots get warped in from both sides, actually. They both get completely roasted up there at the front. Zealots charging forwards for Showtime. He's taken a commanding lead supply now with 121 army supply, actually dwindling down to 117, but it's so strong. It's so strong. There's no way he's going to be able to take this out.
3 Immortals in production at the same time. This is what I was talking about. When you have this big a bank, you might even go for more and more robos. And Showtime, he finally understood that there was a timing here that he could go for. He did a lot of damage. He still cannot overextend here. There's still a chance Naniwa can hold this and then counterattack. So he needs to be careful. It's 131 army supply to 107 in Showtime's favor, though.
Showtime's been so patient about this game. He knew from the very beginning that he had a sizable advantage, but he's been patient and calm throughout it all to keep his hopes alive here.
Oh, he was out of
World
position here for
Championship
one
Series. Time Warp goes down. He might instantly take this engagement. Zealots is charging forwards at the front. Naniwa's Colossi aren't really doing much to the back lines at all. And then by the time they could even get to the back line, well, they've been pushed back
Not sure
themselves.
why he's rushing. Not sure why he's going away here. He has so many Colossi and Immortals as well. Maybe
they could just go forwards and tank.
You know what we say, he's toying with his food here a little bit. Enjoying the moment.
Well, yeah, Naniwa, almost 100 supply down at this point with no bank to speak of. It is almost impossible here to win this engagement. It would need a miracle once again. Showtime just has constant warpins, and he's even going to go for Warp Prism Harass.
He's having the time of his life, man. Yeah. The War of the Worlds definitely raged here on Cactus Valley.
I'm not saying it. You like
come on.
Oh, dear me. Well, Showtime.
Didn't they collide?
They collided. All right. They did. Briefly. Maybe in a bit as well. And Showtime.
You're being annoying in the main with the War Prism.
Yeah. Why on earth not?
Naniwa at this point is probably thinking, God damn it, just attack me, please, finish it.
Just kill me. He's become some random abomination, and he wants it to end. But at the moment, Naniwa, he is facing a slow and painful death. And, you know, it
kind of looked like he might be able to do it at some point. I think he should have chased with his Colossi. He needed to make something special happen. Like maybe, chase, drop, or go with the War Prism behind the army of Showtime, reinforced with the big waves of Zealots. But he didn't really have the bank. Showtime was really good in not throwing it, by the way. We see a lot of throws here and there in StarCraft. That's because, you never really know exactly what you're up against. But in this game, he always seemed to know what he was up against. And I'm going to look like a fool if he just attacks and loses everything now. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen.
Oh.
130 army supply to 93.
Still playing it slow. Still throwing down those cannons. The Hearthstone cannons are here. And he's going to try and kill off this Nexus and still take it slow. He has 8 Colossi over 5. That alone is powerful.
He's attacking when he has to. He's the night end timing, 30 minutes.
All right, well, this entire army of Naniwa is going to fall. There you go, GG. And Showtime will tie up the series 2-2 and force this to a Game 5, keeping his hopes alive after the disappointment of Season 2, looking to power on Season 3.
Yeah, both of these guys actually, they kind of lived the same thing previously, and they both want to make it. Only one of them, though, can make it. There will be only one left.
There will be only one. And, well, for a lot of people out there, a lot of people do want Naniwa, obviously, to advance on. But likewise, there are a lot of Showtime fans, especially here in Germany, after seeing how well he was able to perform in Season 1. Not only that, but I think he made a lot of fans in Season 1 with how he was able to play.
Yeah, me being one of them, man.
Yeah.
It was very impressive performance back then. Behind this, though, kind of fell off the map for some time. Had a break. Was very public about it, about how, he wasn't happy with how he was playing. And now, returning full force. Definitely. Very high ranked in ladder. Pretty insane statistics as well.
I'm really giving a good fight here to Naniwa in the end. As obviously Naniwa here at the moment doesn't want to get demoralized in any way, doesn't want to let this affect him. That game, Showtime, as we said at the very beginning, he had a really sizable advantage and never let go of it for like 20 minutes solid. Yeah, it's got to be annoying to play against, surely.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Naniwa still put up a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
And in the end, I feel like it's very hard to look at that game and be like, oh yeah, from that point where I was behind, there's a lot of things I could have done better. He did really well, but in the end, not enough. It's probably better to look at the series as a whole and be like, in the games that Showtime won, he played really well. In the games that I won, I was the one, kind of leading the pace. I played with some Stargates and did really well. So maybe it's time to go back to this, because in that last game, I think it was Showtime that opened Stargates, and then Naniwa went straight into Blink.
All right. Well, for now, we're just waiting for Showtime to get into this game. Iron Fortress will be our final map in this best of 5. A huge thanks for tuning in so far. Throughout the entirety of the night, we've had some great games from our previous series. And make sure to join in the discussion with hashtag WCS on Twitter. And you can tweet us at Kyle Harris and at Johan Merlo. And who you think is actually going to win this series, because it is now down to the wire. One of these players will once again relive the disappointment that they felt in Season 2 Challenger, but one of them will attain back the heights of Premier, which both players, after seeing Season 1 for Showtime and after it being Naniwa, there was no better way to end that sentence.
Yeah.
You know, both of them are very hungry for
I
it.
thought you were going to say one of these players here will relieve the disappointment that Todd has felt so many times. If you hadn't wrote it there, you would have said that for sure.
Oh, no, man, I'm not that harsh. I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Someday, maybe.
Someday. When we've had a few more years together, someday.
When I'm like godfather to your kid and stuff, and
I
we're
guess
that
so.
close.
Yeah, that. This is never going to happen.
Come on.
All right. See, I'm already getting there. All right. Countdown has begun for the final game of the day. It's been quite the roller coaster already today with a lot of good matches. And we have one more left on the card as Iron Fortress will round things out. What's predictions, Todd? Who do you think is making it to Premier? Come on.
You're putting me on the spot, man.
Yeah.
I think I'm feeling Naniwa.
All right. The Faniwas can be happy. Let's get into it. Game number 5. As we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, it is our blue Protoss. It is Naniwa. And then up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. It is Showtime. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we've seen both of these players mix it up very nicely, you know, DTs and Stargates. Yeah, actually, in the previous game, it was Naniwa that went for the DTs against the initial Stargates. Wasn't quite successful. You know, it feels like DTs, it's been really figured out. Unless you completely catch somebody off guard, it's not going to work anymore because everybody knows the timings and they know how to counter properly. They know, you know, that when a follow-up DT drop can come, everything. Which actually, Showtime in the previous game, he got a second observer very quickly against that. So it was a very risky move by Naniwa to try this. Didn't work. Definitely needs to go back to something a little bit more normal here, I feel, in this game.
Back to the 11 gate here for Showtime. Going up against, looks like a 12 gate on the other side. Oh, but me queued up another probe, so 13. So, big difference there. Big difference in how much the gateway is timed out. Showtime will have that little bit of an advantage here, as he will add on himself those gases and get on going forward. So, Showtime, for the most part, like in terms of recent relevance, I would definitely give him the upper hand against Naniwa. But if you think about the history of Naniwa, who he is, where he has been, like, he has a wealth of history. He knows every little detail of Protoss versus Protoss.
Yeah, he definitely knows a lot about StarCraft, PvP, and Protoss in general, which is going to help. But Showtime, I really feel like he's one of those guys that's been very consistent, you know, with how he's kind of had this rise to the top of, like, in terms of becoming one of the best European Protosses.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you know, he's had his up and downs at time, but no, I really feel like he's back on full form right now because these games, they've been really back and forth. The 2 that he won, he played really well in, and the 2 that Naniwa won, he was the one really shining in those. So it's really nice to see him evolved at such a high level.
I mean, it's not like Showtime even turned heads. Like, it's the only time he's turned heads in Season 1, right? He turned heads way back in previous seasons, back in 2014, I believe, against MVP. It might have even been back in 2013. That far back. But regardless of when it was, you know, we've seen Showtime around for a long time, despite him being one of the new bloods, really, of the European scene and being able to rise through the ranks. So he has a wealth of experience himself.
I think Showtime is probably going to be happy, by the way, with the build order here. He gets a perfect scout in Naniwa's base, see that nothing started before he left it. He had the Stargates, I think it was like a quarter completed when the Cybercore of Naniwa finished. So it's just a great situation. I think you should just go for Phoenixes there if you're Showtime. And there we go.
Yeah, starting him.
Oh, he's not supposed to get scouted though. He was supposed to rally that Mothership Core to his ramp. Naniwa's going to go around.
Uh-oh.
Showtime didn't see it.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh, if he sees this is great here for Naniwa.
Pink Panther probe. He's going to steal the diamonds. Get on in there. Oh.
You're such a nerd.
You what, mate? Pink Panther's not nerdy. Okay, it's a little bit nerdy. All right, well.
Oh my god. Guys.
I don't know. Like after long casts, my brain melts away. It's fine.
He's gonna steal the diamonds. You don't even realize sometimes.
I know. Okay, well, Phoenix is on the way across. At least he's been able to get heads up of it, and the stalkers are positioned in the mineral line.
I really like how Naniwa was hiding his mothership core on the bottom right-hand side, but didn't really have to, I guess. And Showtime, with getting a robo behind this, is actually a really nice move because he probably knows that, you know, Naniwa is very likely to go for Blink Stalkers behind this, so he's going to be needing to get Immortals. And I think a great move that you can do here is cut Phoenixes after just 3. You're going to have the air control. Here we are again. He's going to have air, map control, vision. He can get a lot out of this, but he can die to a Blink attack if he's not careful.
But this time, 3 times as much. Whoa. 3 times as much as the previous air domination.
Yeah, which is why he's going to lose on the ground.
He's just got nothing. Brilliant stuff. Well,
he's trying to get the probe.
Oh,
he's going to get it.
Gonna get it. Oh.
He's going to steal the diamonds.
He almost had 2. He almost had 2 times as much air dominance if he'd have lost one of those Phoenix. But that's a lot of stalkers moving across Toss. You're right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Showtime needs to get Immortals ASAP. He's getting a first one.
The probe?
He's going to start Nexus. What? You see your opponents moving across the map. Showtime. Getting a little bit overeager here. Nani was committing a lot to this.
Yeah.
He's cut probes on 22. I don't think Showtime realizes the gravity of what's happening there. He needs to be getting 1 more gate and more units. If these stalkers blink on top of that Immortal there.
But yeah, it's all about these stalkers though, because there's no probe over the other side. The Phoenix have been trying to deny that probe from getting across.
Forces the overcharge. Yeah, I think Showtime.
Yeah.
He's going to start realizing what's happening here. Probably cancel the Nexus, get more Immortals. If he can get up to 3, it's going to be quite okay. He needs the Phoenixes in defense, I think, to pick up the Phoenixes.
They were having a party there. They were having a whale of a time, but still no probe. All of these
he's going to go for it.
He's going to try and blink on towards the Immortal. This could be it for Naniwa. He brings down that Immortal. There's not much power left here. And he needs to be off blink very, very soon. Off cooldown, he is going to be. So he blinks them away to safety, 1 by 1, but the second Immortal is arrived. He's going to try and focus this down, blinking these down onto the low ground. Good control by Naniwa. Losing that one sadly.
Oh, he needs the Phoenixes. He needs the Phoenixes in defense to pick up some of these stalkers there. He sends them across the map again. Oh my god, Showtime.
I don't think Naniwa can do anything else. The second Immortal is about to pop, and then from there, there's no pylon.
I mean, you shouldn't underestimate stalkers. Like, they can kill these Immortals very quickly in just 2 volleys, especially one of those already injured. But there is another photon overcharge to work with there.
Supply block gets
30 Immortals already started though.
Yeah.
So that supply block won't really matter. A Nexus has started here for Naniwa, so he's actually going to transition. But it really doesn't have that many probes.
And he'll just back off for now. Doesn't want to be too close to these Immortals.
Oh god.
They're walking down the ramp. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so he gets himself a Stalker. We'll lose.
He lost 1 Phoenix on the other side there, Showtime.
To sentries? Oh, to foot and overcharge.
Yeah,
okay.
He just moved too close, I guess. And he's just going to start a Nexus, I guess, behind this. You can't really attack against Blink Stalkers like this, even though I guess you would have had a chance to arrive just before that Nexus finish. You know, Sentries, Zealots in defense, plus Mothership Core, potential Photon Overcharge, even though now there wouldn't have been one. Could have been quite good.
Blinks in, he's going to get this Phoenix. Nice. He's down to 1 Phoenix again, Todd.
The lone savior.
The lone Phoenix. He'll command from the skies and have that air dominance for quite a while.
Top Gun.
Back to the Wing Commander. Not quite Wing Commander levels, but he'll do what he can. This is actually a big army.
Nani was moving out.
Yeah.
It's actually, it's something they used to do on maps like Belcher, Vestige. If you know that you had a lot of Blink Stalkers and you had a bunch of Sentries to work with, even though your opponent's going to have Immortals, you can force field these Immortals in, either away or towards you, and you can kill them.
So the weirdest thing just happened in my brain. I just had the biggest deja vu ever, like actually deja vu.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting this not to work because in my deja vu, it didn't work. There you go. That's really weird.
Fantastic story.
Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
It's looking pretty scary, though. Look at this. Guardian Shield is being used very late. Photon Overcharge.
This is one Immortal.
Why do you use Guardian Shield so late? That's pretty much all you have to do against this.
Great Force Field. Seals on Immortal forwards. That's good to be able to focus another one down. Maybe get another Sentry. But Photon Overcharge is holding this back and he still has 2 Immortals behind it. As I said, man, not going to work.
I mean, Naniwa at this point is actually committing a lot to this. Even though he's getting probes, he's going to be sending out probes, so I guess he wants to trade and he knows that he's going to be able to some extent. Look at the wing commander, he's ready.
No. To do what?
Pick up a stalker.
Pick up a stalker?
What else?
Get the observer, that's all he's got to do. I don't know what it's going to do. I guess he could deny blink into the main, but that's about it.
I think Naniwa could actually blink into the main and force field the ramp there.
Yeah, he could.
He'd do a lot of damage, but then he'd be kind of trapped.
Yeah.
Which is actually what Showtime's afraid of. Oh, if Naniwa force fields the ramp.
Oh. Oh. He tries to get the observer there briefly. Force field's down, but the blink out.
Yeah, this is great because right now Showtime is too scared to be making probes.
Yeah.
And Naniwa brought his walker count to 45 against 34. Oh. Naniwa is looking great right now.
Yeah, he's looking brilliant. He's got the Robo Bay on the way, +1 weapons on the way as well. Force fields are bound to try and seal in these Immortals. Anything he can get is going to be a good trade because he is so far ahead back at home.
Yeah, getting a Robo Bay here is huge. This much earlier, +1 with the Forge. Started earlier as well here for Naniwa.
Forces him away here with the Immortals now, but the damage has pretty much been done in relation to the tech advantage, extra gateway advantage. Phoenix is going to go for a scout.
That guy is hilarious. He's just like flying all over the place.
He could have
Somebody's playing like Flight Simulator here with this Phoenix. Something like.
Tries to go in again for another fight. Focuses down a sentry, gets on out of there, loses a stalker at the cost of that though.
Not very good, but if you can shut down some of these sentries and the opponent doesn't really have any hallucinations to scout with, it's good, definitely, for you.
Oh, and he sees the third base starting. That's got to be a heart-wrencher here for Showtime. Seeing the progress of your opponent's tech, seeing the extra gateway, seeing the third base go down.
He split his army in two.
Okay.
Naniwa not going to dare, just going for the right-hand side. And Showtime's actually moving out. Okay. Yeah, I guess he has a lot of Immortals there. Against really not that many Immortals. Only one, and then one single Colossus.
Yeah.
Does he actually mean it? I don't think so.
Quite far he's going out here. Quite far indeed. And the Stalkers have been kind of corralled back. He's just kind of shepherding them back. There you go. I used the words to use.
What?
You looked at me,
Corralled,
so I was like,
and shepherding.
I'm going to elaborate
Oh
as
my
much as possible. Oh, dear Todd.
That was sick.
You and I, we've got a lot of vocabulary to talk about when we get back to the office.
Oh my god.
All right, well.
That's a Twilight, by the way, that Showtime's getting. So he wants to get that +2 started ASAP after +1 finishes. Naniwa already started his.
And blink down to the low ground after doing some damage and run away. Rendezvous with the Zealot up towards the top. There you go, use some French. As we will have Naniwa now. Just amassing a very, very powerful army behind this. 71 army supply against 51. Economical advantage as well.
Yeah, I think Showtime might just try and do the same thing that Naniwa did last game here. And just kind of, you know, play defensive. Even though in Walkers, he's quite a bit ahead. It's funny to see Naniwa with so much army. Like, if Naniwa, being ahead so much in army, doesn't use that advantage to attack soon, he's just eventually going to let Showtime catch up. But look at this. Big move out here. He's proxying pylons. He has no intention of sitting back on his lead.
Yeah, and this Phoenix is looking at this third base saying, you took this a while ago. Where are all the probes? And
there isn't any.
Nope, there are none. This is quite the strong army. Very, very strong. He needs to somehow like take a... he's evacuating the third base. He knows.
I think he might be able to realize that he's ahead in walker counts. So if he just sits back, catch up in supply. Colossus count actually he's gonna equalize here very soon with the third one about to come out here for Showtime. He's already queued a fourth one, I think, behind this. If he can get a Colossi leads just by one. Yeah, but I mean, there's Archons available for Naniwa. I think he's gonna go for a timing here on the natural no matter what.
Yeah,
and I'm not really liking the pre-concave that's been set up here for Showtime. He needs to stand maybe behind his Nexus.
And with some Zealots on the left-hand side, could get choked up quite easily.
That is so many Zealots.
It's a pretty strong army. Really, really strong. 27 against 14 Zealots alone. The Stalkers poke forwards. Look at how this army is set up, and Showtime is coming out to greet this.
Yeah, I think he was realizing that Naniwa is just going to snipe the third base, and then behind his tech, he's on third base. So he's coming for a flank, but Naniwa can just kill this, recall behind, and he's going to be in a great position.
Yeah, really, really well done. Really good strategical movements out of Naniwa, understanding that his army is just far superior and falls back to the economical position that he's in.
There he goes.
Look at him. Look at him.
He's going to check the saturation.
Sees not much.
Well, I mean, double gas there.
Oh, yeah.
Means red alert. He's going to get a lot of Archons.
Oh, look at him. He's found Colossi. Is he going to kill him? No. So, back on off. Oh, he's found the mothership core. Is he going to kill it? No. It would be so sick if he did. But there you go.
Showtime, I just re-expand. He was actually going to long distance mine from that third base.
Oh, yeah, the probes.
Just going to restart that. There's a Zealot squad just up there, ready for the cancel. He's actually moving out, so that's going to trigger the attack from that Zealot squad. I think.
Sure do. He had the vision on it from the middle with that Stalker now being moved back. So this is going to cancel it once again. And Naniwar is going to be in a better economical position.
Yeah.
He's going to be in a better standing with his army. And if Showtime can't make something happen with this army alone, after the cancellation goes down, this could be a disaster for Showtime. He could be staring down the barrel
he
of
can
a
shoot these
second
probes
Challenger
from,
fail.
Can shoot these probes from this side here.
Oh, that's good. That is quite annoying here for him. 5 Colossi against 5. Just stand still. Start working on them. Very, very nice. 9 worker kills. But at the same time, we're actually losing... we lost a few probes up towards here.
Yeah. Needs to restart the Nexus over there. And anyone
trapped?
moving out for the flank.
No. He's got a recall. He's okay. He should be fine.
Showtime is a recall, remember, there.
Mm-hmm. So he's just going to... Wait a minute. Yeah, that's just making the situation worse up until the point
He's
where
trying to make him
out.
believe they recalled. He might just go for a base trade. If Nani was eased to move out.
That'd be crazy. Where's our Phoenix? There we go.
There's
Wait a
a
minute.
hallucinated one poking, actually.
I didn't even realize that. So as I was clicking on these, I click on one Phoenix, but it actually goes to the hallucinated Phoenix as well when I continue clicking. That's interesting. Didn't know that. But for now, Naniwa here with his army is well positioned. He's maxed out. He's maxed out, Todd.
Yeah. And it's funny because with the probes that got killed, he never remade them. So he's actually on 157 army to 135. He's maxed out army. It's going to be so scary.
Oh my.
Are we going to have another base trade? Looks like it.
Yeah, it does. And the thing is that with these armies, how they are, 157, 135, is this a position that is winnable here for Showtime? He's already supply blocked.
I think it is. Like, Naniwa, there is a chance he takes a really bad fight there. I wonder if Showtime's going to recall on his third base. Yes, he's going to recall in the main.
Okay.
Regroup there and then try and go for the fight. But all of his probes and the Nexus on the natural were killed there.
But he's lost so much more.
Naniwa, recalling with everything is going to be super hard there. His army's pretty spread out.
I don't think Showtime can do this. He could just back off.
Don't underestimate him, man.
All right. Well.
Okay, maybe he can.
Naniwa is almost 50 supply up here. He's looking at a premier advancement. He's going to kill the third base. He has a little bit of an economical advantage because he has a base that's mining. And if Showtime loses this is disastrous.
Yeah, he needs to go for the fight here, Showtime. He's out of time. He's not mining anymore. He just got another Colossus out, but he didn't rally it from his Robo, so he's going to stay kind of stuck there. He restarts the Nexus.
Oh, no. This is going all pear-shaped here for Showtime. Naniwa at the moment is going to be able to set himself up in a great position.
He's making himself at home. Look at this.
Yeah.
What's next? He's going to drop down a few royalist targets and go Tempest there?
I don't know, man. But Showtime's got battened down the hatches if anything comes along towards that natural. Oh, the Phoenix, no! Oh, phew. Okay. All right, so he's fine.
So much more supply for Naniwa there. 161 in army against 141. Upgrade-wise, we're dead even.
That army setup, the positioning, is kind of something you would see from the campaign box. That's fantastic. Anything that comes along here is going to be obliterated. Showtime needs to...
This is risky. He has to take a risk, though. The longer he sits back, the worse it's going to be for him. I'm actually so surprised he remade a Nexus.
Look at
I think he just should have pulled the probes and gone for it.
There's nothing he can do with this army. He has to find the craziest of situations.
12 Archons to 5.
Oh, dear me. This is not going to go well here for Showtime. He is scrambling at the moment.
He has more Colossi somehow with 8 to 6, but with this amount of Archons, like, they're going to need some serious sickest lasers.
The Phoenix, no. His heart has got to be racing. It's got to be racing. He knows that he is really up against it at the moment, and he's walked all the way around here to now try and find a good spot to fight here. But even if he does damage, the army is going to just collapse on this position and tear him apart. He can technically recall out, And that's what he's looking for.
It's going to be really hard, though. With an army this big, to get around your mothership core and catch everything.
He's got to recall. He's got to do it now. He's got to do it now. He's got to get out. Because the army here of Naniwa is vastly superior. He gets everything out after getting the third base. Oh my god.
Not bad, but he lowered the walker count of Naniwa to 22. So that means he's going to be getting an even second army. So that's going to backfire big time.
Well,
Shouldn't have done that, man.
Yeah, once his pylons get set up, actually he needs to replenish quite a few pylons if he continues to march through the middle of the map. But still, army supply in favor slightly of Naniwa. 13 Archons.
Both players are broke. They only got they're only mining from their natural, and it's 22 probes to 18.
This is ridiculous. Both of them, they understand what Premier, the last Premier season, means to them here in 2015. Look at this army, Todd. Look at it. So many Archons. 15 against 5.
That is... Yeah. It's going to be really tough. I mean, as good as Colossi are, Naniwa needs to attack into basically the worst concave ever. And actually, if he attacks that natural of Showtime, there is a chance that Showtime holds, but a very, very slim one. These Archons, they are going to tank so much damage, and the Colossi behind this are going to clean up. He needs to be basically completely clumped up. And by that, I mean, in the most absurd of ways. I think Naniwa doesn't even plan on attacking, basically, as well.
No, he's starving him out. He's just trying to starve him out. He knows that his army is superior. This one Zealot is going to be the scout.
I can't believe that Phoenix is still alive and scouting, by the way. This is ridiculous.
That
guy's been there the entire game watching stuff. Do something already.
Still has the air dominance.
You pushed this one so far.
You said it, man. I'm sticking with it.
9 Colossi to 6, by the way, for Showtime. If Showtime's able to max out, look at this. Army supply 171 to 175. The thing is, Archon counts. I don't think he can catch up ever.
No.
Still 5 to 15.
Look at him. Still sticking around. He'll be there till the end of time.
Before a big battle, like, you know, guys with like horses going into the middle of the fight and like the two armies, and they have a chat. That's what this Phoenix is doing. He's like tickling the Colossi.
He's the negotiator. He's like, please, please let me out. Well, he's set in no man's land for now. I can zoom out even further, actually. Look at this.
This is madness.
There you go.
Oh, this is Naniwa. Pushes him off the cliff.
That guy didn't have wings. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, Naniwa right now, I mean, he knows that this is his advancement here to Premier League, so I completely understand him not attacking, you know?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people watching thinking, well, you have 15 Archons, why don't you attack? Well, guess what? One of the only ways he can lose is if he attacks. And I think setting up defensively here, whoever attacks is going to be at disadvantage here, supposedly.
Showtime. He's poking forwards with Colossi. He noticed that the army was a little bit out of spot for the Colossi to fire back, maybe getting himself an Archon or so. He knows that this Phoenix is actually being annoying.
Yeah. Showtime having more Colossi is actually doing this right. Kiting a little bit like this.
Well, yeah, that was a good move by Naniwa to get rid of that Phoenix.
This is really smart by Showtime. Having more Colossi is going to be able to kite like this. Unless he gets hit by a Time Warp, it's not going to be too bad to this, but I think he's about to go for the fight.
Yeah, the Mothership Core was selected here. Time Warp goes down. This could be the end of things. Naniwa is looking to round it out, looking to finish it off here and advance onto Premier. Army supply, though, 109 against 80. Those Colossi numbers were really making the difference. Naniwa plummets in supply, and Showtime is going to push him out of this.
Oh my god, Showtime. He finally somehow found a way to get a good fight after remaxing, and he's chasing down.
He's got to go. He's got to go. The time is now for Showtime.
He has Blink as well. He has Blink on the Stalkers. He can blink forward and chase this down and kill even more Colossi.
Did Naniwa wait too long? Did he not go for the engagement that he needed to before all of this? Showtime, after all that has happened in this game, is on the warpath. He has nothing left. He has no Colossi left. Naniwa, in the very, very ending moments, 92 army supply against 34. Showtime, unbelievable. GG. He makes the recovery, and he advances on to Premier. I can't believe what we just saw.
I can't believe it either. He was set up perfectly in defense. Showtime, he had such a long time to think about how this engagement was going to go with the Phoenix that was flying above. He was like, you're set up perfectly like this, so if I attack with everything clumped up, I'm going to be in trouble. So he pre-split his army, and then he moved in. And even though at first it really looked like it was going to be at Naniwa's advantage, in the end, these Colossi, they cleaned up house.
Yes.
Big time. Because as much as Naniwa had 15 Archons against just 5, he had something like 30 plus Zealots against 19, which Zealots, they evaporate. They clump up with Archons, they die, and then you got nothing. So Showtime, eventually, he used this Colossal advantage, and I'm so surprised that, I mean, I can't believe this just happened like this.
I mean, you can look at that and be like, Showtime was in such a desperate situation for a long, long period in that game, and he kept his composure. He didn't kind of falter under all of that pressure that was coming at him.
That counter-attack, by the way, at the bottom was great. I really didn't think it was going to be good, but he killed the third, all the probes, and then he was like, well, I'm broke, but guess what? You're as broke as me now.
Yeah. Crazy. What results we've had from day number 1 here in Challenger for Europe. And that does it for our games here today. We've had quite the game series indeed between all of these people. So congratulations to those that have advanced on. For Naniwa, it's going to have to wait until 2016 WCS before he's able to get
Legacy
the
of the Void.
Or Legacy of the Void, yeah, that's true.
Most likely.
Definitely. Well, we'll see. Anyway.
Showtime is crazy. Like, you know, we cast a lot of games, and we always say, like, he's going to need a miracle to win.
Yeah.
He kind of got a miracle here.
That was amazing. I actually did say that halfway through that game, at the end. He needed that miracle.
You did, but it's my line. Buddy.
That's fine as well. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, a huge thank you for tuning in for day 1 of Challenger. Don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be back, same time, same place for day number 2 of Challenger. We have another 5 series on the way for you tomorrow to determine the next 5 spots going on into Premier League. After that, of course, the next day we will have 4 series to round things out for the 14 players advancing on. But today was fantastic. Tomorrow, we'll be rounding things out with, starting with 4GG versus Daishi, and then plowing all the way through to see if Elfie, in the very end, can topple you thermal. Anything that really sticks out for you on day number 2, Todd?
Not really. I feel like, you know, the fan favorites here, they really delivered. Except, you know, maybe Ret against Marine, I guess, is the one where, like, you know, Ret is definitely more of a household name. These games were crazy, by the way. Like, I really, really like this series.
They were great. Yeah, they were great. And it's great to see that Marine is able to now put himself on the premier stage and fight on forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, a huge thank you for tuning in today. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you these series. And make sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, for more World Championship Series action.